Good afternoon, tankers. Welcome to the North America versus APAC clan tournament show match. My name is Nate Palmer. This is my good friend Ravi. How are you this afternoon?
Good, thanks. How are you, Nepal?
Good, good. So we've got some amazing matches in store this afternoon. MAHOU versus ATLUS. Two very, very, very strong clans on two different servers.
Definitely, indeed. Looking at both the results for the Dawn of Industry campaign. Both teams had a really good campaign by the looks of things. I think Atlas really dominated on APAC, and I think MAHOU did the same thing as well in North America. So hopefully today these games that are going to be giving us are going to be one to watch.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of really talented tankers here. This is just something that I've been really looking forward to. I've been anticipating this for a long time. But shall we have a look at the clans and see exactly who's playing for us today?
Sure. Shall we look at Atlas first?
Sure, we certainly can. So, looking at ATLUS, we've got quite a few familiar names if you've been playing in the Clan Wars campaign previously. Half-Light, Umiki, one of the community contributors, Yamato Noob, The Returned, Mori-chan, a lot of players I certainly recognise there.
I noticed that again, Cape Lama, not Cape Lama like last time. He's the captain of this team again. You also see Amushi, Kika, Rita Math, Shojak, Notori, Singer. There's some familiar faces we've seen when we had the clan tournament from the local clan tournament last time round. So
yeah, absolutely.
Some familiar names.
ATLUS proving very, very strong last Clan Wars campaign. Surprisingly, not so well in the previous clan tournament, but this time around we've actually got a couple of the crown guys that joined ATLUS. So the winners of the last clan tournament are now joining with ATLUS, so combining both their strengths to make an even more powerful team.
So this team, they've got a lot of core players. I believe this team have had a lot of practice. They've been around together for a few seasons now, so obviously the depth in the team is really strong.
Absolutely. MAHOU, shall we have a look at them?
Yep.
So, MAHOU, I'm never going to get used to that clan logo. Not familiar with a lot of these players. A couple of big names there. But Perfect, the team captain for MAHOU. Also, we've got Tedster, I know, Rainbow Assassin from Ducky Clan on Asia, would you believe? A lot of names I'm not familiar with, but I'm assured that there's a lot of good players there.
By looking from MAHOU, obviously, I've seen some familiar names in MAHOU, but obviously they do change their names quite regularly, I believe. I do not know who Tedster is in Ducky, but I will find out later today. But yeah, obviously we see some lot of, if any guys from the North America server, they see a lot of big names there. So it would be really good to see how well gelled this team is, and also how much performance they can bring when they come across the HK server.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting clash. I mean, I don't think either clan has versed each other before, so it's really difficult to know exactly what clan's going to come out on top here, because there's a lot of experience between both clans, but will the NA meta completely shake up how ATLUS plays, or is ATLUS going to play incredibly differently to how MAHOU normally plays? So there's a lot of engagements here. We're really going to be curious to see exactly how is it going to go down.
With ATLUS playstyle, I'm not too sure how MAHOU play what their playstyle is, but if they play something similar, it'll probably be very close games. But again, it all comes down to what the strategy is, what kind of tanks that they have, and how the game is executed by both teams.
Absolutely. Shall we have a look at the maps? And this is a very interesting topic. The map picks and bans. So the way this tournament is run is some games are played on the North American server, and some games are played on the Hong Kong server. I believe the North American server they're playing on is US Central. Is that correct, Ravi?
Yes, that is correct on US Central.
Yeah, so the way this works, we will start out by the picks bans. ATLUS banning Ensk. That's a understandable ban. I know a lot of clans don't like playing it because it's very static, it's very passive gameplay, a lot of heavy tanks. Might just complicate the matches a little bit. Redshire ban by MAHOU, and I guess I can understand why they would do that as well. Again, because of just preventing that campy play. I know for a fact that it's difficult to break a red Shire camp unless you have Artie, but that opens you up to a rush. So a lot of understandable bans here. Prokhorovka, though, something I was not expecting ATLUS to ban.
In the campaign, from my perspective of versing Atlas when I was in Erie, they play very strong on proc. I'm guessing that their experience on proc wasn't too good, so that's why they probably made a ban like that. But then Cliff as well, coming from Mahu, I understand that Cliff is pretty much just a all and brawl situation where you just dive bump tanks in the mid. I could be wrong, could be different on the North American server, but that's just what I encountered in the campaign. But obviously, maybe Cliff wasn't Mahu's strength. Cliff wasn't their strength. Sorry.
It's interesting because Cliff I see picked very often because people consider it an easy map just because of focus fire and brawl. So it's interesting to see like they've actually banned this map, but I'm sure they have their reasons. So now we get to the picks. Now, we'll start out on the North America server, 4 games. So we have Karelia and Steps that have been picked by ATLUS, and I don't know, Karelia? That's a very, very weird choice by ATLUS.
So with this one, Atlas will be defending first on Karelia, and also same thing with Steps. But Karelia, we'll just touch on that. Um, Defending on Karelia is depending on how you want to play it. You could probably do a heavy rotation, or you can just be static with positions. Um, be interesting how Atlas will play it, but also be interesting what kind of tanks Mahu would use to counter their defensive strat. Um, I'm guessing that Atlas are feeling pretty confident with Karelia, hence why they didn't ban it. Um, but I don't know. What do you think, Napalmer?
I think it's weird that they would not ban Karelia, but they banned Prokhorovka. I think Prokhorovka is definitely easier to play than Karelia, but I'm sure they must have some very interesting tactic. Steps, though, I see a lot of confident play by ATLUS in campaign on Steps, so I can understand why they would pick that.
Again, like I mentioned before, Atlas will be defending again on Steps on the North American server. Um, I personally don't like Steps because it's one of the maps I'm terrible at, especially for calling. But yeah, it's you can rotate, you can play each flank really strongly, in my opinion. Obviously, the south spawn is a little bit more dominant in terms for defensive positions. If you want to camp, I could be wrong. The north spawn could be the same. I just find that with the south spawn, you can probably play more defensively, a lot more strong, and have stronger positions than you do in the north spawn. So it'll be interesting to see how Atlas and Mahu will play that.
All right. Would you mind going through the rest of the maps just quickly? I've got a couple of technical things I need to take care of.
No worries. So now
Make sure you get in and ready up, by the way.
Yep. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. So now we go to the HK server where Mahu will be defending on Himmelsdorf and Sand River. So we'll touch on Himmelsdorf first. Himmelsdorf, I believe, will be a very heavy lineup. That you can probably run some strats where you can push down the 2 line aggressively or try and take hill aggressively. But again, it all depends on what Mahu have in plan. Same thing for Alice when it comes to their turn of defending. I believe that both teams are quite strong on Himmelsdorf. But honestly, I would like to see how these games play out. And then for Sand River, again, Mahu on the defense. Looks like I think Atlas may be out. From memory, I think Atlas were quite strong on both sides of Sand River. But I think Mahu might be a little bit stronger there. I believe they play a little bit more rotation slash medium base lineups compared to Atlas. And then lastly, we'll come back onto the North American server on Malinovka, where Atlas will be defending again. Malinovka is a bit of a difficult one in my opinion because you can either take the hill and play the lighthouse, or you can play south and be heavy in the south to try and cut the map in half. What I mean by that is if you play the south, you push aggressively down the riverside, and you just try and take control of their base and just outvision them and get them to fall into silly positions and just catch them out. But again, I want to see what kind of strategies that both these teams will come out on each of these maps. And then lastly, back on the HK server where MAHOU will be defending on Fisherman's Bay first. Fishy Bay was probably a really good one because you can either contest mid heavily into the town, or you can either rotate tanks through the town or through the one line. Um, Obviously, both sides of the map are fairly even in terms of positioning. So whoever's got the better tank lineup and got the better brawling capabilities will determine the outcome. And then lastly, the tiebreak map will be Muravanka. At this stage, it will be decided whichever team wins first on the attacking team, and then I'm guessing it will be the opposite for which server they play on. So if Atlas win, it will be on the NA server, or if Mahu
Hopefully it
win,
doesn't come to that. But sorry to interrupt, but our first game's about to get underway.
Oh, really?
Yes, indeed. Already, mate.
Oh, already. Look at that.
So, shall we get into it?
Yep. So we'll look at Atlas's tank lineup first. So look at this. They've got, how many IS-7s is that? 6 IS-7s coming out from Atlas first. 3 279Es, 2 Super Kongs, 2 Chiefs, and 2 E3s. Bit of a heavy lineup there. Would you go through Mahu?
Sure. So we've got a lot of Chieftains. Leopard 1, interesting choice. A lot of 907s, triple EBR 105, and Tedster and the Conqueror gun carriage.
So just looking at the two teams there, Atlas don't have any scouts compared to Mahu's 3. So this could be interesting at the start to see how much vision control Mahu would take at first. And as you can probably see, the EBRs are going to be really aggressive at the start here. You have Zerial pushing very aggressive down the river. Same with Tank's field. They're pushing really aggressive into the field to get that vision, try and catch any tanks off guard, try and find out where exactly Atlas will be setting up first.
Absolutely, and can we just take a minute to appreciate the glorious camouflages for both teams here? This is the fantastic camouflage that's been supplied by Wargaming. So we've got the blue and green for MAHOU, and we've got the red and black for Atlas, looking absolutely spectacular. But MAHOU taking a lot of map control. Atlas not so much, but it is their defense, so completely understandable.
They're using the bridges and the high ground in the base to stay held down as best they can. Obviously, Karelia pushing up to the rock into F0, playing that rock aggressively to try and keep vision out on down the low side of J8. Artie hits him for 400, so maybe not the best start, but obviously with the hit point difference, Atlas have at least over 7,000 hit points compared to Mahu.
Yeah, but look at this even split. A couple of Chieftains north, EBR north, EBR middle, EBR south. MAHOU just completely taking map control here. But the thing is, only single artillery. With 3 EBRs, can they really bleed down all his HP?
They've got 3 EBRs split across each part of the map. They've got one in the north, one in the mid, and one in the south. Really, I reckon probably 2 Artie would help try and break this out. In hindsight, I think 2 EBRs might have been good. 3, if you know it's their defense, you can probably maybe risk it a little bit and go 2 Artie and 2 EBRs. But obviously, Mahu have a bit of a plan up their sleeve for this.
Tedster on the Conqueror gun carriage, trying to get a shot, but MAHOU really can't afford to poke out too far to get spots. You look at the Atlas guys, a lot of them are all just really dug in. 279, IS-7's the only one that's taken damage so far, and that's all that Tedster's really shooting at. But the thing is, Atlas is just wasting time here. They've got, what, a little over 7 minutes, almost 7.5 minutes. But I really don't know if MAHOU can afford to play this so... I mean, sure, they have to play it slowly because they're camping, but with a single artillery, it's going to be difficult. They have to try and bleed them down as much as they can, and then push somewhere. But where are they going to push? They're really lacking the information.
You see that coming from Mahu. They've pushed the 9-7 EBR very aggressive into B7 and A7 there. Who do we have? We have 0-3 Mark Legend pushing very aggressive. Ted's in a bush into their base. He's very close. He's probably within 200 meters of their base.
But look at all these tanks by Atlas. They're all just sitting at the back of the map here. I'm assuming most of these wouldn't even be spotted. They're all just be sniping at long range. And look at this. We've got a T110E3 sitting right at the back here. Like, that is going to be incredibly difficult. ST tank trying to dig that out. Like, he just sit back there.
I reckon once they find Mahu is very aggressive, they're going to push these IS-7s down and just overwhelm them, in my opinion. That's what looks like they're going to try and do.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a problem MAHOU is going to face. They've gone a very, very light lineup, but only single arty. So what's going to happen is that being able to, I guess, spot for the arty leaves them vulnerable for a repush, which I can guess that they're all split and they're all spread out and they're all ready to deal with that if it happens. But this is exactly what ATLUS wants. They've barely bled any HP. They've still got over 30,000 HP compared to 26,000. It's really, really difficult. 0-3 mark legend here trying to proximity spot the IS-7, but again, there's just no one to shoot it. IS-7 sitting hull down, out of line of sight, and only single arty who's still hammering over the IS-7. Yeah, the IS-7 is probably going to go down in a minute or two, but I think this is just what ATLUS wants. They want to kill time.
The only two tanks that have taken damage is Cape Llama in the IS-7 and Showboat in the E3. Like, Cape is on 500 hit points and Showboat's on 1500.
But look at this.
Well,
Look at this rotation here. We've got 907 and Chieftains coming through the low ground. This looks to be a B line push.
Toads, they're already picking up 3,000 damage in the Arty. Look at that.
Hammering it away. But here comes this coordinate push. And I can see... I don't know. I can't see this working. There's just so many tanks here.
G-Hay bleeding a little bit of hit points in his 279 by 0-3 Mark Legend. 0-3 Mark Legend is still very aggressive in his 97, right up in their base again. And look at the push coming in from MAHOU with their 97s and Chiefs coming down the low part of the C7, C8 position. And the first kill goes to Jaho, sorry.
IS-7 finally going down. The 279 here caught out in the open. ATLUS is really going to have to try and push back out here and get a lot of damage. And we can see already we've got all the tanks on the ridgeline here. Super Conqueror, 279, IS-7 moving up to try and get shots. But all that HP advantage... All that HP advantage is just disappearing. I really feel like ATLUS needs to make a move soon if they want to try and do something. But at the same time, they don't really need to because they're in a strong position. And yeah, sure, they've bled a lot of HP. Yes, they're down 2 tanks. But they're still up HP. And they've still got the better positions. It's actually kind of favouring ATLUS here.
ATLUS is still up 3k hit points right now. And as you can see, MAHOU are really moving tanks around the bottom side. Down the part of the map, so it'll be interesting to see how they try and dig out these tanks in the low part from ATLUS at D0.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's still a lot of tanks just sitting at the back here, like, well, E3, IS-7, multiple IS-7s, Chiefs. Being able to dig that out is not easy. I really think that MAHOU, their tactic here, is going to be trying to dig out another tank. There's the Tedster with the over 3,000 damage coming through on my end. But, I don't know, I think with such a very light lineup, MAHOU's really going to struggle to push into this. Yeah, they're slowly bleeding them down, and I think only now the HP is starting to equalise, but that's 4 tanks, and we've still got 3 minutes left on the fight. I think this is ATLUS's tactic all along, just to slow them down as long as they can.
I wonder how many shells the Arty has left, because he's probably fired quite a bit at the IS-7 earlier on in the game. And as you can see, that ATLUS is still holding the B0, A0 position at the back of the map, waiting for MAHOU to keep pushing in one by one.
But here we go, look at this, we're starting to see the MAHOU surrounding ATLUS, coming in with a swarm, and finally, ATLUS's HP dips below MAHOU's, but with a little over 2.5 minutes left on the clock, it's going to be really difficult. MAHOU's going to have to start playing quite aggressive if they want to start killing all this 20,000 HP in 2.5 minutes. It is not easy unless you're able to get a lot of consistent damage out.
Developer on the 279 holding his own and the behind these rocks here, trying to make it really difficult for MAHOU to kill him. Meanwhile, MAHOU are very safe from the crossfire that ATLUS have from the IS-7s in base. Yeah,
but look how much HP is like split between here. We got a one-shot IS-7, we got a very low HP 0-3 mark, build the wall under 1,000, but ATLUS is really barricaded into the back of the map here. MAHOU is just swarming in at all angles. The IS-7 in the corner here is getting completely focused down. But there's a 2-minute siren, and the HP, surprisingly, is still very, very even. With so many low HP tanks, MAHOU's really going to struggle to try and get all the kills out here.
MAHOU have only lost 1 tank so far, and that was the EBR from Marta. And as we just saw just then, Jaho just picked up 3,000 damage in his 907.
I haven't seen that actually, but like MAHOU definitely has the better positions here, but being able to dig this out with the HP they have, and with 1 minute 30 on the clock, I don't know.
They need all their guns in this fight here. They've still got a level 1 out of the fight. He's starting slowly rolling in. He's still sitting at the back there.
But it's certainly doing the damage though. Now we're seeing about 3,000 difference between a lot of tanks going down on Atlus's end, but with a minute left on the clock.
There's still ATLUS, MAHOU are 3 capping, so you need to keep an eye on that. They've got 2 seconds left on cap.
I completely forgot about that.
0. Oh, there's a reset coming out from ATLUS. It's going to be a close game. There's another reset. They're back to 20 seconds, so ATLUS pulling out some clutch resets on cap.
I don't think it's going to be enough though. Less than a minute on the clock, 15 seconds on the cap, less than 2,000 HP. I think it's all over ATLUS.
They had to force ATLUS out to get resets, and I'm guessing that's what MAHOU's plan was, to force him out to get the reset. That way they can punish him. And look at that, ATLUS win that with still 10k hit points left.
Absolutely, very well done by MAHOU here on their home server. It looked very difficult at the start there, being able to try and bleed, but I think it's just out positioning, being able to bleed them so hard that they're able to do all the damage. And that's required just to take all these tanks out of position. And with so many tanks in like really isolated spots by ATLUS, it was a case of, okay, we picked the I-7, now we pick the 279, now we pick this tank. And with tanks going down so quickly, even though ATLUS had the HP advantage for so long, I think they were just purely riding on the fact they wanted to try and play for time.
You look at the damage spread compared from ATLUS to MAHOU, even though ATLUS had a lot more hit points to give to MAHOU, ATLUS, their damage spread was very low. They've only had Tuku in the I-7 at 1800 damage. Yuhei, he died very early in the game and he's at 1700. But you look at MAHOU, a lot of the damage came out from the Chieftains and 907s as expected. And look at that, Tedster and the Artie picked up 5.7k damage. That's a monster game from him.
Absolutely, but I think we need to update scores. So MAHOU surging ahead on 1 point. Let me... Hey, it works. So 0-1 to MAHOU on their home turf. ATLUS really needs to try and pick up a point if they don't want to fall behind.
I believe you have a message in Discord. Can you please check that? And I'll quickly go through this next game.
Yeah, sure.
So, ATLUS, as what Napalm said before, as ATLUS were playing for time by the looks of things, that was their plan all along. Given that they do have a higher ping than MAHOU. Maybe playing too heavy and sitting in the base for a little bit too long might have been the killer for that game. MAHOU did a really good job at penetrating their defense in base and really forcing ATLUS out to make a mistake, and that's what they did in the end with putting 3 on cap. They were going to cap out or force ATLUS to make the mistake, in which either way, one of them was going to happen, and the mistake happened. But yeah, as you see, there's a lot of low damage coming from the bottom half of the I-7s. You thought with them being held down in base, they would pick up a bit more damage, but obviously, yeah, they just didn't have enough gun depression coming out. Ridomath with the 22 shots, 6 fired and 3 hit, must be doing a lot of blind firing there. But yeah, now it's ATLUS on the attack while MAHOU is on the defense. So yeah, I wonder what ATLUS will have up their sleeve for this game and see what happens with MAHOU's defense and what lineups they will bring. I wonder if MAHOU do something similar and bring a bit of a heavy lineup to try and camp the base, or will they play aggressive in their base? And we'll have to find out as we go into battle.
And it appears I've made a slight mistake. Whoops.
Are you not in the game?
No, I'm in the game, but well, turns out I've got the camouflage bot around the wrong way, so that's a bit of a mistake. Oh well, such is life. Looks like MAHOU and ATLUS are getting to exchange their camouflages this time around.
That's right then. So we'll quickly have a look at ATLUS's lineup. 2 GCs, 2 EBRs. That's a pretty good lineup there for starters. And they have 6 907s, 3 Chiefs, 1 279 and an I-7.
And ATLUS, well, technically, I don't know, this is kind of confusing. Do you want to go through the other team? Sorry, while I try and sort this out.
MAHOU have got one Artie, 3 EBRs again, 5 907s, 1 Leopard, and 5 Chiefs. So, looks like a bit of a more mobile lineup coming out from MAHOU. So they don't want to play this defensively, or they want to at least take map control and then hold position. So as you see here, that Chiefs and 907s are moving aggressively down the south to try and take control of the hill. ATLUS's EBRs are very split. They have 1 north, 1 south, but MAHOU sent 3 EBRs north to try and trick ATLUS that they had a heavy force going there. But as they can see, there's nothing there.
There we go. All right, I fixed it up. Unfortunately, MAHOU gets to adopt the ATLUS camo, but that's all right. At least it's working out on the observer mod end. Alrighty, so first kill, EBR going down on MAHOU's side. Zerail? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Zerail. And a very interesting change in tactics here. MAHOU trying to take that south and then coming back to base rather than just doing a full commit, which is what ATLUS did. ATLUS, on the other hand, not taking south at all, completely going up to the north here.
As you can see that MAHOU did a very aggressive thing by putting all their Chiefs and 97s down south there, make sure they win the hill, and if there was a brawl there, they had all their tanks there ready to brawl that. And now they've just rotated their 97s out and a couple of Chiefs into position, that way they can hold positions.
Yeah, so we've got the MAHOU tanks up here defensive on the hill, but I don't know, the question is that going to pay off? An ATLUS repush here could certainly ruin this hill play. But it is a pretty generic defense, taking about half of the map and still having the EBR spotting middle. But Maida here in the EBR 105 certainly taking a lot of damage. Tanksfeld in the EBR not taking as much damage, but I don't know, the thing is, if ATLUS want to run the double arty here, they need to spot. And I don't know, are they really spotting anything? They don't have middle control.
You see is that their 97s from MAHOU in base now. They've sent big guns in the 97 up aggressively into A5 to get into the hold down position there to try and spot A3. And then you still have their 97s in base ready to shoot anything that gets spotted there. And you see Yuhei and the 279E pushing up, trying to get more vision out for ATLUS.
Yeah, look, it's certainly interesting. Yuhei here pushing up, taking not that much. No, 2 shots of damage. But I don't know what ATLUS is trying to achieve here. They just seem so hesitant. They've got the double GC they want to work over, and sure, they're absolutely going to try and smash big guns out here with a 279. But the thing is, right, Yuhei is taking a lot of damage getting to that spot, and he's going to just keep constantly getting hit because we've got, unfortunately, Tedster and the Conqueror GC hammering away, and he's already down to half HP.
Big Guns is now down to 100 hit points. Can they finish him off? There you go. Artie does finish him off.
Big hit. Big hit. That's 2 MAHOU tanks down now. And ATLUS, even with a double arty now, is surging ahead on HP.
One thing I would like to notice as well, that MAHOU's 2 EBRs are very aggressive. One's at E4 and the other one's at G5 in the bushes. So the 97 that they have there at the rock is trapped and he won't be able to get out of there. And same with the IS7 at G6 behind the rock there. You can't get out as well.
They run the risk, though. That EBR, Kagome, if he gets too close and he proximity spots those EBRs, both of them are probably going to die. I mean, yeah, sure, that MAHOU do have chieftains on the hill, but we look at ATLUS, they've got a lot of tanks on the base as well. It's going to be really, really interesting how they try and dig this out.
Here comes a big hit there from the hill with Swamp Cabbage Man putting 1 shot in the nipper and the 97 in the mid. Honestly, ATLUS did a really, MAHOU did a really good job here by pushing aggressive and taking map control and then holding it. That is a really good key for this map. If you want to play defensively, you take map control and then you just hold it, and just bleed them out with Artie.
Absolutely, and having that double EBR so aggressive in the middle of the map means that they can spot any rotation coming out of the 1-2 line. So if ATLUS rotates their chieftains out, for example, then they'll know it instantly. But look at this, MAHOU's actually playing quite aggressive. They're rotating not chieftains, 97s out of base. Even though they're on defense, they're actually pushing out.
They're using the mobility of the 97 to rotate around the map from one side to the other and try and catch a tank out.
Was that
I
friendly
wonder,
fire on the 907 there?
could possibly be. I wonder how aggressive Mahu would be with it with this push coming down the south. They're going to keep pushing by the looks of things. They're pushing all their 97s and Chiefs in. They're bleeding, getting bled from the tanks in base from Atlas.
They must be completely borderless. MAHOU's defense pushing out really aggressively. I think they're taking a gambit at most of Atlas's tanks will be in the north, but look at this HP bleed. There's just so many tanks coming into position here. And look, Atlas just says, alright, I'll just rotate chieftains out of the north and get ready to accept this push. I mean, sure, they're taking map control, but at what cost?
Looks like the 97s from Mahu are trying to dig out the I7 and I7 in mid from Atlas, and looks like they do that successfully with the 97, but Tuku in the I7 is still alive, and they're too busy focusing on this two chiefs that are sitting at D3 from Atlas.
Yeah, but this swarm is actually proving quite effective, leaving that one chieftain in the base with only the 279 pushing onto it. That chieftain's going to win that fight, and this is actually looking kind of good for MAHOU. They've taken a lot of map control, and they're really trying to take out the double RT. Here comes Marta in the EBR 105. Almost gets shotgunned by the Conqueror gun carriage. And with these Conqueror gun carriages now trapped in the corner of the map, caught in a crossfire, these honks are really going to struggle to get any sort of damage out.
Considering that Mahu is down 2k hit points and they're down 2 tanks compared to Atlas right now, it really could seem that they've just boxed their 97s in to this bowl here, and that Atlas can just swarm them.
Speaking of 97s, here comes a risky play by Atlas. ST Tank and Yamato Noob trying to retake the hill, kill Swamp Cabbage Man and the Chieftain, and this could end really, really badly. If they try and push onto the one line now, knowing that there's less tanks, this could be all over for Atlas. Alternatively, they could take out Swamp Cabbage Man and retake the hill. This could be an incredible play either way. And oh, Swamp Cabbage Man gets set on fire.
And he burns to death. No fire extinguisher for that man.
But MAHOU significantly down on HP here. And with Atlas retaking the hill, they've now got map control. Yes, the 279 died, but it did a surprising amount of damage to that chieftain in the north here, only on 300 HP now.
There's a lot of low hit point tanks coming from both sides, and you see that Mahu, they have no guys over 1,000 hit points now. You've still got both chieftains under 500, while Atlas still have a lot of guys that are on low hit points, but they can take a hit, except for SC Tank who's on 1,300.
And look at this.
Down to 800 hit points now.
Look at this push completely shut down by Morichan here. This is just completely dead now. MAHOU's got nothing to play with. It's all over.
I think the push happening very blind down the south, expecting that Atlas's chiefs, or most of the Atlas force was still in the north, was really countered by their push. They got caught out, and their idea of a push was trying to take their base. But when they still saw their 97s and chiefs sitting at K2 and J2, it really made them have to change their plan. They had to duck inside and try and take out the I7 that was still sitting at G6.
And they took so long to do it as well. Atlas able to rotate chieftains back into the fight and then re-push hill. MAHOU just sitting there doing almost nothing. Yes, it was a gamble to try and take the base, take the artillery out of the fight, but just didn't work in the end.
In my opinion, since Mahu was on the defense, they had the stronger positions. They had the mobile force to rotate from one flank to the other, but I think they pushed them a little bit too blind in that. And as we look at the post-game battle results, you see that Notori picked up 3.3k damage in the Chief, and then he had Morichan pick up 3k as well. While on the Mahu side, you had Narwhal Legend pick up 3.6, and Swamp Cabbage Man picked up 3,000 damage, probably from the hill. So both lineups, the damage spread was pretty even coming out from majority of the tanks there. You just see that from Atlas, the 907s, and a couple of the Chiefs were the main damage dealers there. But I still reckon Mahu probably could have won that if they just held their positions just a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know, that re-push in, that just it was a risk. There's no way of beating around the bush there. It was a risk, and it backfired horribly. Even out the scores, Atlas won, MAHOU won now, and I don't know, can MAHOU really afford to drop a point on their home server? Because when Atlas finally takes control in terms of their home server, it's really going to be interesting to see how the North American guys fare playing the Hong Kong server.
Considering how much ping they will have, I believe they would have been testing it all week. So I'm hopefully that they can still pull out some of their main strats and still be competitive at the same time. But I reckon they will. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, I apologise. Your your face is a little bit out of sync. It's a technical difficulty. But yeah, I believe that's the end of Karelia. So we'll have our next map popping relatively shortly. Our next map is
Steps.
Steps.
So ATLUS again are defending on Steps on the North American server. So honestly, this will be something that we could see. Here we go. We currently have. Oh, we
Battle
got a bit of
popped.
time to kill here.
Yes, we have a lot of time to kill here.
Hmm.
Oh dear.
So, would we like to go through a strat sketch and try and break down exactly what happened with those 2 games?
Sure, we can do that. Also, if possible, Ravi, would you mind just disconnecting Skype call and I'll get you back, just because it's not syncing properly. That's a little bit irritating on my end. So what we'll do is we'll quickly go to our be right back screen while I try and get Ravi back and synced, and then we'll go to Strat Sketch. Alrighty, I think we're good. Just trying to bring you back.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yep. Just let me bring you back to large camera. All right, I think we're good.
Oh, let's go again.
All right, so let's head over to the Strat Sketch link. Let's hope this works. It does! Yay!
Awesome.
Alrighty, so I need to give you perms. Do you have the link?
Yes, I'm in the scratch right now.
It's not there for me.
Do
you have perms to do anything?
No.
Okay. More technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a stream without technical difficulties. 1 second.
So I'm in now.
Yep. Just let me refresh that.
So honestly, while we quickly figure this out, so yeah, well, we'll look at ATLUS and on their defense first. So we'll have ATLUS in the green. So
there you are. You should be good.
They were set up very defensively and had a lot of tanks in their base. I'm only going to put a few tanks in their base just quickly. But honestly, it's ATLUS, like we mentioned before, played for time. In my opinion, they probably should have played this with at least one arty if they were going to be very defensive in their base. That way they can bleed down some of their tanks as they push in. But then again, once they get right under this position here, where I'll mark on the minimap, get right under here, that's when the arty would become useless. So they really just had to try and play the hold down in this position here, which didn't quite work for the I7s. The I7s couldn't pen the chieftain's turret very reliably, so they had to extend themselves quite aggressive over this ridge to try and shoot these these chieftains that were spread out from MAHOU along this ridgeline here.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because ATLUS, they had a IS-7 here, they had a 279 here. I can completely understand why they would want to do this, because realistically they want to try and slow down MAHOU as long as they can. The problem is that they let MAHOU take so much of the north here, and they were able to just get underneath here, completely crush this, kill this party, and then get under here and crush this. And the HP advantage doesn't seem as strong.
So when we look at that, with the MAHOU push coming from the IS-7s, they came in through here, so they were completely unspotted until they got under this ridge here and actually poked the ramp here. So they got undetected coming into here. They had an IS-7 that was very aggressive in their base, and an EBR just running through here, making sure that ATLUS couldn't get vision on any of the guys that were caught crossing here. So MAHOU did a really good job of getting under their gun line very quickly.
Yeah, look, I definitely feel like they had the right idea here. They wanted to play for time, and this is something that ATLUS is very good at. They're taking, really defensive positions, trying to catch people off guard, and it kind of worked, but I think they were just too split. They lost too much HP, and yes, it did come down to the wire, but I think maybe if they had a more solid defense, they could have actually held that.
But yeah, so honestly, both teams had a really good plan for that. Obviously, MAHOU's plan came out as the better team. Um, but not to break it to Atlas, they did play that very well. Obviously, they just lost a lot of hit points to Artie, who had a massive game at 5.7k damage. So can't really fail there for their Artie player, who did a really good job. Shall we switch it over to where MAHOU were defending?
Just, yeah, please talk about that. I've got technical difficulties.
All good. So, looking at MAHOU's plan, they actually did this very well. They sent wrong color, my bad. They sent their main force of chieftains down south with their 907s to support to preempt Atlas contesting Hill. So they sent their 907s down here to try and punish this. If Atlas sent tanks down here, and if there was a brawl here, MAHOU were ready, and that was a really good idea by MAHOU. They were making sure that they were able to contest this and not lose 2 chieftains for free, and they managed to get 2 chieftains on the hill, and that was pretty much hill secured. The 2 chieftains had free farm to anything that was spotted in this middle part of the map, and then even though they lost 1 EBR, they still had 2 EBRs to be able to keep vision out for them, and that was a really good thing as well for MAHOU. As we saw in the end there, that they actually rotated their mediums around and put 1 medium tucked in here, which was big guns, and then they kept a lot of their force in base here to try and punish anything that was spotted here. And I've done the wrong thing again. My bad. I'm sorry, guys.
That's alright.
So yeah, anything that was spotted here, which was the 2790, which was Yuhei, and he pushed up to this rock and got bled by their Artie. Again, losing a lot of hit points to Artie and getting punished as he was crossing in the open. So this 2790 died pretty well, easy, and obviously big guns fell as well to Artie, which was not a big loss for them. They were able to realize that, yep, they've got tanks up in the north here. Now what do? They pushed their EBRs further up, and took very passive positions here and here. It's the wrong color. God damn it. There we go. Just got to get these strat sketch. Does not like me. So yeah, MAHOU put very aggressive positions with the EBRs into these middle parts here to try and spot the rotate coming from here and from here. Now with MAHOU's push that they made coming down south with their 907s. I'm guessing that they didn't see the cross happening here, coming back to base from Atlas, so that's why they thought there was still stuff here. Hence why they made the push aggressive up here. But the thing is that they spotted a few tanks in north of Atlas. That's why they made the push. Realizing that now, that's why they made the push here, not getting enough vision down in the base where they had Atlas still had 907s in the base, which is really good that they kept these guys unspotted from Atlas. And when MAHOU made the push in, they got countered and they were caught in a crossfire by the I7 that was still sitting at G6. And so yeah, MAHOU bled a lot of hit points from their I7s crossing into here, and they were just caught in a crossfire with the Chiefs still sitting here and here by Atlas. So I can see why MAHOU made the push. They were trying to catch Atlas off guard, which was a very good idea, but they didn't have enough vision in their base to try and make sure that they had nothing there. And Atlas did a very good job at hiding their tanks in base. So yeah, what really turned the game around for MAHOU were definitely winning that because they had map control and they had the holding positions on this map, especially as a defending team. They lost it when they started to push tanks under here and bled all their hit points. That's when the game had really turned. It was they did a very good job of trying to bring it back. But at the point there, a lot of the tanks were just caught in a crossfire and they just bled too much hit points as they were trying to get into safe positions.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And apologies for letting you have to do all this. A lot of technical stuff I'm trying to fix in the background here. Yeah, look, I really think it was all over once they committed. Like, they committed all the way into here, and this is okay for Atlas because they can just re-push back into here whenever they feel like it. And with all these tanks trapped here, because they have tanks up here and tanks up here, they can't come out of this bowl at all. They have to be able to push out, but they can't. So there's a lot of tanks trapped in that position. Yes, they're harassing the Artie, which is kind of bad for Atlas. But they have this rock here that's blocking line of sight, and I don't think MAHOU anticipated that.
No, and one thing too that MAHOU also forgot to realize is that Atlas still had tanks and base here, so they just pushed 297s around and took the hill and take out the chieftain that was the lone chieftain that was on the hill. And these tanks, these 97s were out of the fight, so they were able to take hill for free.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
once they did that, they were able to completely control this to make sure that MAHOU could not push out.
Absolutely. They've got tanks trapped here, they've got north control, they've got base control, and with hill control, it's a three-way crossfire. There's nothing that they can do. And yeah. Like it was a risky play by MAHOU, and it looked promising at the beginning, but I think it was just a gamble that simply didn't work.
So we've got 2.5 minutes left till our next game start up. So one thing we didn't do, Napalm, is do a bit of predictions. So while we have a bit of time, even though we've already played we've seen 2 games. Sorry, what are you thinking? How this is going to play out?
Look, I think it's going to be pretty close. What do you think personally?
I'm gonna go 7-5 to Atlas. I'm not being biased here, only a little. But I reckon Atlas once we get onto the HK server, I reckon Atlas will win both games on each map that is played on Hong Kong. And then when it comes back to the North America server, Atlas will probably drop one, and then they'll finish it off on our own server.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit closer, 7-6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot closer than that. I definitely think like if Maya's going to keep making risky plays like that, then they could easily throw this away. Again, I'm biased. I'm going to go say Atlas here. I mean, come on, we got to support our own server, right? It's kind of like patriotic almost, but
a bit wrong,
a bit biased. But I don't know, like that sort of almost a throw even. It's going to be really difficult. Especially as you said, when it comes to Hong Kong server with Atlas being able to really start getting onto their own level.
So, I reckon MAHOU really needs to take these next 2 games to really put the pressure onto Atlas and if they play steps as strongly and if not better than Atlas, then they can do that easy. Like we're already looking at the first 2 games on Karelia, even though they had the mishap there with the blind push coming from MAHOU. Both teams are showing how strong their team is and how much depth and experience they have as a core. So it looks like no player in that team is on an off day. It's just that whoever can catch one team out, that will definitely win. That will change the balance of the game.
Absolutely. But won't be long before we get into our next game.
We've got 5 seconds, so get ready for the next set of games on steps with Atlas defending first. So good luck to both teams, and let's see some more epic gameplay.
Absolutely.
So as we see here first, we've got Atlas on the defense. So we've got Yuhei in the Super Conk, 3 Chiefs, about 797, 2 EBRs and a 261 coming out from Atlas. And then you look at MAHOU, they have 3 279Es, 4 Chiefs, 2 Leopards, 3 907s, 2 EBRs, and an Artie. Again, Tedstar showing his dominance in the artillery, so he must be them Artie main.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm still trying to fix technical stuff.
That's alright.
And looks like it's all working this time. Yay, it's working, hooray. It's always good when stuff works. Alrighty, so double EBR both sides. It's gonna be interesting to see exactly what sort of plays we are expecting here.
So both teams are splitting their EBRs. One's going down the 1 line, the other one's going down the 8 line and trying to get vision out. Kagami is playing very aggressive into H1. He does get spotted by Tanksfeld and their EBR from MAHOU, and they're both just going to fall back, except for Kagami. He's just going to hang around here and just try and stay safe. Bit of solid forward driving coming out from him in the EBR.
And yeah, alright, I think we're good. Sorry, I've had to completely change a lot of technical things. The information I'm getting fed is incorrect, so I'm having to reconfigure. Alright, I think we're good.
So MAHOU's EBRs, they've both taken 1 hit, so they're just playing a little bit more passive, not too passive by looks of things. As you see from Zerial in there, was able to get passive into the bush at F0, sorry, and able to get vision for MAHOU to see what exactly they have in their base.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've got an EBR sitting completely passive here. Aniki in the EBR 105. I mean, he's going to completely spot. It's interesting as ATLUS here. They've just completely given up this side of the map, but they're relying on this passive EBR to completely spot it out. Yes, that's absolutely going to die if they push through, but it gives them such early warning.
You got Yuhei in the Supercon in the back of a K0 behind the rock there. Very strong position behind that rock. Very difficult to dig out with Artie, but usually you'd see 907s there, but obviously ATLUS find that a Supercon is better because of the armor that it has and how much gun oppression it has to be able to shoot anything that gets down low.
Camera work is playing up here.
That's right. But yeah, if we're looking at this here, steps for South Spawn is you can play very defensive and you have like stronger defensive positions. As you can see with the Chieftains from ATLUS, you've got two sitting in the back at the rocks here playing hold down, one watching the F1 corner, then supporting the 907 that's in mid at G6. And then the other Chieftain sitting at these front rocks here at H5 just to try and play the hold down rocks there and try and catch any EBRs that make an aggressive run through the field.
We're seeing a rotation though. A couple of 907s coming out of the 7-8 line, rotating over to 1-2. It's a very slow play by MAHOU here, but interesting pick by ATLUS. They've got a 261 over a Conqueror GC. That's very, very curious.
Steps is more of a flat map, and I'm guessing that they don't want to use a GC because of the slow shell velocity that the CGC has. So a 261 probably is the better pick here. Whereas I think the GW, is it 30 rounds, not 24? Is that right?
I would not know. I would not know.
I don't play Artie, so I need some Artie players there to help me with that.
But look at this regroup here. We've got a lot of tanks grouping up here for a 1-2 push. Interesting, got the double leopard though. That's not really going to be effective for a push. So they're probably going to sit back and try and snipe where they can.
So it looks like they're MAHOU are getting ready to push in. They've pushed 197 across to try and push Nipper and the 97 from ATLUS back around that corner at J3 to find out exactly what's there. And I think MAHOU know exactly what ATLUS is doing in base right now. They know what defensive position they've got. It just depends how well they can lead their tanks as they push in.
Yeah, but I don't know, being able to push this kind of thing with leopards, like, I get they're really good for sniping, but it's not exactly the best tank to push with.
No, they're really more of a support tank from distance than a brawling tank. But the 420 alpha that the leopard has is quite punchy compared to the 320 that 907s have. Yeah, so you see from MAHOU, they're just holding positions right now. They're just trying to make sure that they can get a couple of bleeds out from ATLUS, and then either rotate their tanks out or look like they're going to make a push down the 2 line. And I think at this point they're just trying to figure out exactly what positions they have where, get the Artie to work for a little bit longer, and then make a decision on what they want to do. You see that Chieftain in mid, Narwhal Legend pushing right up, getting under the gun line of the 907 and actually trying to extend his vision out for MAHOU.
Yeah, look, this is exactly what happened on Karelia. I mean, you have a case of ATLUS staying really, really passive and MAHOU throwing tanks forward, trying to take them out one by one, and then commit to a side. But it's interesting, so many tanks rotating back over to the 1-2 side, but no commit immediately. There's still a lot of tanks holding 7, 8, 9. And I guess both teams really trying to hide a lot of their tanks here.
So, as we can see there, Narwhal Legend can actually get shot by Yuhei up the back there in the Supercon, and Miki in the 907 in the rocks here at H4. They actually have shots onto the turret of the Chieftain in mid. So, I wonder how much longer Narwhal will be able to survive there if they can actually pull off these shots.
Yeah, look, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly how they're going to do this. Look, you got this little pokey war going between Narwhal here and Yamato Noob. Neither of them really want to poke out because they know there'll be snipers And speaking of snipers, Narwhal taking a couple of shots of damage here.
Yeah, Yuhei just put in a nice shot into the wall from the Super Kong. It's a really nice shot, really bringing down his hit points down to 1300. And I'm surprised that Tedstone the Arty is not shooting Yamato Noob in the 97 in mid. And again, I'm guessing that Atlus's Arty, the 261, doesn't have clean shots onto Narwhal. So
Yeah, this is a problem. Running a 261, as I said, it's got such a flat shell arc. It's okay if you're trying to attack, but when you're getting situations where they're really close, it's going to be really difficult to try and get shots out. I don't know how it's going to actually be effective.
just cut you off there, Napalm. You look at this from MAHOU. They're pushing Zerial and the EBR up aggressive to try and take out Capelana in the 97 in the K0 position. They've got the 269s, 279s and the 97s pushing very aggressive. And Yamato Nu goes, gets the first kill on Narwhal Legend. So obviously the 1v1 there really did help.
But 7 minutes into the game, this is a really late first kill. It's going to be something, yeah, they're getting kills out here, sure, but this is a really late play.
Capelana goes down to God Jaho in the 97, and now that MAHOU has that K0 corner, so they can put more pressure onto Atlus's base and
But
really
look at
dig
this.
out the super comp.
Look at this, we've got ATLUS re-pushing the 1-2 line, and 279E completely caught out here. It's going to go down.
There goes Melon. I'm going to say that. Sorry, butchering their name. I do apologise. And the 270 does go down, and ATLUS have retaken that 2 line, and they're going to lose leopard 1. They take down the leopard 1 from MAHOU. So a nice counter push there from ATLUS. And the thing is, now MAHOU has their base, and they're going to start putting applying pressure on their base.
Absolutely, but the thing is here, ATLUS looking actually really strong. There's not a lot to defend MAHOU's base, only a Conqueror GC and a Leopard. Whereas if you look at the ATLUS side, we've got, yes, they're not very healthy, but we do have Chieftains here. And MAHOU's really going to have to try and dig out these Chieftains as quick as they can if they want to try and secure this base. There goes Return down. And Notori here, not very healthy, but we do have Tuku, relatively healthy. I think he might be able to get a couple of resets out here.
We got SC Tank and Riddermath coming back in the 97s through the mid to try and get the resets. They've got 13 seconds. Will the 279 slow them down? Sweet Cabbage Man is trying to slow them down as much as he can, but he's just losing hit points as so much. And ATLUS do get the reset on God Jaho. And there goes Arty. Arty does finish off the EBR on cap.
But look at this, look at this. 11 seconds for MAHOU lose when ATLUS caps out. This is not looking good for them at all.
So ATLUS did a really good job at dominating that 2 line and taking out a couple of key tanks that were holding that. And 4 kills were picked up in Anarchy in the EBR then. That was a really good game. ATLUS played that very well.
Yeah, absolutely. That repush there on the 1-2 line completely shut down MAHOU's play. They took so long to make a play, and ATLUS goes, you know what, guys? You know what? We're just going to push the complete opposite way, and we're going to beat you to the cap.
So that was a really good rotate / counter push coming out from ATLUS then, where they saw the push coming from MAHOU very early with the EBR, and they managed to get the Anarchy and the EBR out safely with still all of his hit points, and then able to rotate round, clear out MAHOU's base, and then just chuck 3 on cap, and that was it. That was game.
Yeah, it's very interesting. 261 on ATLUS' side is actually doing a lot more damage than I thought it would. If you look at the Concrete Gun Carriage Tedster 2600, compare it to the Object 261 2500. Considering the fact that the 261 has got a lot worse shots, they must have really bled a lot in the early game.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I may not have seen because I wasn't looking at it, but it looks like that Gorotaro, sorry, and the 261 was able to, with the fast firing 261 reload, was able to pick off more shots on some tanks that were just caught in the open when they got spotted. And obviously with the EBRs where they had them positioned, really did catch them out. And obviously the 261 just slowly picked them apart. But as you can see, Riddermath in the 97 pick up 3.2k damage. Yuhei in the Super Kong picking up 2.7. He did a really good job at holding that position at the back of the map in those rocks. The damage spread again coming out from mainly the 97s and a couple of Chiefs from ATLUS. But look at MAHOU's side, you got the Leopard 1. Kono, I should say. Picking up 3k damage. Tedster again having another good game with 2.5. God Jaho not in the 97 2.2, and the damage spread was mainly up the top with Mahu's tanks. The damage spread wasn't quite as clear, but they did pick off a bit of damage coming out from Mahou. But so, it was interesting to see there with how Mahou played that. I was thinking that Mahou were actually going to win that with what they were doing, but obviously the repush that ATLUS made beat the trigger to them.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to send the code off. So 2-1 now to ATLUS.
So now we have Mahou on the defense for Southspawn. So I wonder how Mahou are going to play this. Are they going to play this slow, like what ATLUS has been doing on their defense, or are they going to be aggressive and take map positions and then hold them until they see a mistake from ATLUS?
Just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to copy a code to a winner here.
You need to hit ready.
Oh, Schnitzel. Thank you. Thank you for that.
It's alright. I just noticed then. But yeah, so as we go into game, let's see what the lineups have. So we have Mahou with 8 Chieftains coming out, 2 Leopards, 2 907s, 2 EBRs and a CGC. So very strong lineup there. They're playing, they're using the Chiefs turret, playing looks like they're going to play hold down there. And coming from ATLUS, they've got 1 279E, 4 Chiefs, 6 907s, 2 EBRs and 2 CGCs coming out from ATLUS. So, ATLUS going to use a double arty and try and really dig out Mahou's defense. So it'll be interesting to see what Mahou do in this line.
Yeah, sorry, I've had so many technical difficulties to stream. It's been a nightmare. Oh, good. All right, so looking at lineups once again. Double EBR by MAHOU. Double EBR by ATLUS. Double GC by ATLUS. They're really expecting to break a camp here, but look at this. MAHOU's really trying. They're doing exactly what they did on Karelia. They're pushing out one side aggressively, trying to take map control, and then trying to come back and defend the other side. But look at it. Like, I have to try and get the camera. Kagumi here in the EBR and Aniki in the EBR. They're pushing up so far. Like, it almost looks like it's just a complete, 50-50 split. One team go one way, one team go the other way.
Marty do miss Smarter EBR coming from ATLUS, and Marta's on 500 hit points. They did send 2 EBRs down south to try and flush out this lone EBR that was passive, and Marta's down to 1 shot now on 100 hit points. And Aniki does miss the kill shot on him, so unlucky for that. He does get spotted now, he has to run. But as you can see from Mahou, the Chieftains are pushing right into B8 and getting right into that corner, making sure that ATLUS can't retake that corner.
Yes, and I apologise as well. The camouflage mod is having a couple of technical difficulties, so you're looking at a couple of doppelgangers on our side with the camouflage. But yeah, it looks like the Chieftains here trying to set up here, but I don't think they'll be able to push it. They know that there's going to be a lot of ATLUS tanks sitting up there, and I don't know, would this push so far forward really worth it?
I think Mahou might be doing the right thing here. They're using the Chiefs turret to use this ridgeline across C7, D8, and also E9, and playing hold down and preventing ATLUS from retaking that A7 corner. And with the positions that they have in the south, 97 behind the rocks at K7, the 2 Chiefs sitting at A7, they've really got a defensive lineup in their base as well, and they can easily rotate tanks between the map. And there you go, you see that.
Mana just went down.
Yeah, is it Kicker?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. So yeah, as you can see that Mahou are rotating majority of the Chiefs back around in the base, and this is a really good thing. They've cut the map in half, and they've got both flanks covered, so that way ATLUS can't push one flank and win it cleanly. They've actually got to dig the tanks out, and they'll probably lose a couple of tanks at the same time if they do. But
and this looks like a proper repush here coming in from MAHOU. They're assuming that there's going to be a lot of ATLUS tanks sitting up in the north trying to defend the base, but I think they projected this attack a little bit too early, because I can already see a lot of ATLUS tanks either starting to pull back or move to position. Yamato Noob, though, in a very precarious position. He's probably going to go down here to 0-3 mark legend.
Mahu's tanks did get spotted as they rotate back around, and yeah, Yuhei is going to go down to 2798.
Yuhei as well. Yeah, he's completely caught out. Tanks on both sides here. Yamato Noob going down. Yuhei about to go down. This is really looking much better for MAHOU now.
There goes 2 tanks for free for ATLUS. MAHOU doing a really good job at, even though they got spotted on the rotate round, they did pick out 2 tanks for free then. They did bleed a little bit of hit points, but they were still able to win this corner once again.
And it's interesting as well, ATLUS not really making any counterplays here. They're just accepting they lose 2 tanks for free, and they're letting MAHOU take map control. They've already got chieftains. If you look at Cabbage Man here, he's already gotten under the ridgeline here with Melancholy. MAHOU just completely dominating the map here in terms of control.
They're really forcing ATLUS back into the corner. Yeah, and even though ATLUS have got 1 EBR down at B0 or B8, he's not going to be able to do much there. Even though he's trying to get vision on those tanks, there's not much they can do. And obviously you see Sweet Cabbage does go down in the chieftain that was sitting at C6.
Indeed, he got set on fire by double Artie, so very unlucky for him. And Niki doing a lot of spotting here in the EBR 105, just letting the artillery hammer. Yes, they've got map control, but with that EBR still alive, look at the damage coming out here. Melancholy is almost dead. He's on 64 HP.
MAHOU are down 3k hit points right now, so...
And where did that happen from? Because we had this case where they were actually up 1,000 when they pushed down south, but now it's sort of just stopped, and ATLUS is now able to use that double arty, do a lot of damage, and I don't know, is this really going to pay off, pushing these double tanks here? Yes, they had map control, but the bleed is really, really bad.
They're down 4k hit points now, MAHOU, so they've really got to be careful. They're really going to start playing a little more passive, otherwise they're going to keep bleeding hit points to both their arties, and Melon does go down to the arty.
Look at this Leopard 1 really far forward. Konu Dio, I'm assuming he was trying to get crossfire, but poking that top there with double arty, it's really, really challenging. I think MAHOU's really at a loss here. They don't know what to do. They can't push 1-2 because they know most of the team is there. They can't push AB because they know that most of the team can rotate back, plus double arty will annihilate them. It seems like at a loss. But remember that MAHOU is on defense here, so they can afford to just sit here and do whatever they like. Yes, it's kind of at a disadvantage, but ATLUS needs to be the one to make the move here.
MAHOU need to realize that they still have arty in effect, and if they keep getting spotted, they're just going to bleed to arty.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really want to see what ATLUS does to repush, though, because we've got 4 minutes on the clock. They really need to do something. And the problem is that if they project their repush too early, there's a lot of chieftains in the south by MAHOU that could really push through 1-2, clear that up, and they could even take take double arty out of the game, which means that ATLUS really doesn't have much to play with. So it's really about keeping this push blind. The 907s and the chieftains coming in through AB line.
Looks like ATLUS are making a move now. They're sending a bit of a force down the 8 line to try and clear that out, and obviously try and catch a couple of tanks off guard from MAHOU.
And what timing it was as well. The Leopard 1 getting out completely unscathed there. I mean, I assume he didn't have any intel, any spotting, but that could have ended really, really badly if that push came a minute earlier.
So you see that ATLUS MAHOU have rotated all their tanks back to base now and setting up defensive positions with the Leopard and the 907. They've got the EBR back passive in the push, tanks sitting at G9.
But this is the same problem that MAHOU had the last time. With not much time left on it, this game, we're going to see a really aggressive push coming through 9-0. But being able to clean up all these tanks in such a short space of time, it's going to be a really tough ask.
And there we go, Kicker does get spotted by the EBR, and he is able, EBR should be able to get out of there for free, and Kicker's on his own. He's so far forward, he's on his own right now. Yeah,
not really coordinated as a group here. But he's putting a lot of HP. Tedster, though, very vulnerable in the corner. There's a lot of MAHOU tanks up in the high ground here. ATLUS bleeding a lot of HP. MAHOU coming back on this.
There we go, the crossfire that MAHOU have on ATLUS 97 is paying off. ATLUS have lost a lot of hit points there. There goes 2 tanks down for ATLUS, and now ST Tank is on his own.
Such a desperate play. Look at this, the Leopard and the 907, no hesitation, pushing back off the top of the hill. ST Tank is about to get caught in a crossfire. He's going to go down, and I think it's all over for ATLUS. They've got nothing left to play with.
That push coming from ATLUS, they got caught out in a crossfire, and they lost all their 907s that they had committed down there, and this game has been turned around now. MAHOU are back up 1,000 hit points.
2-minute siren, and unfortunately does not look good for ATLUS. MAHOU showing incredible strength on this defense. Yes, they made a lot of mistakes almost with rotating Chiefers and bleeding, but I think that blind 9-0 push by ATLUS, that was not coordinated. They knew that MAHOU would have tanks there. That was just, I don't know, that seemed a bit bizarre.
Yeah, Kika did die on his own. He was not with the rest of the 97s, and he lost his tank very quickly. And it's almost similar pushing one by one there. And Kono picking up 3,000 damage in his leopard 1.
Yeah, look at this big guns here, 1900 HP. ATLUS, yes, there's a lot of one-shot tanks on MAHOU's side, but there's a lot of one-shot tanks on ATLUS's side. Being able to dig out a near full HP Chieftain, I think it's all over for ATLUS. With 1 minute left on the clock, it's not looking promising at all. That double arty just not doing enough damage, and yes, it did work, but I feel like they weren't coordinated enough to make it work.
MAHOU did play very, very smart in the end, and was patient and waited for ATLUS to make an error, and that's where the error came on the 9-0 line with their 97s, and they were able to turn this game around. MAHOU were down 4k hit points, and now they managed to turn around and be up a k hit points. That was really good play by them.
And look, honestly, it's such a close fight. It is such a close fight in terms of the scores. This is going to push MAHOU back to 2-2. I know a lot of people were certainly underestimating ATLUS coming to this tournament, but MAHOU, are they throwing? Are they not playing as well as they could? Is ATLUS just too strong in some cases? Yes, this is a very convincing win for MAHOU, sure, but I know a lot of people expected MAHOU to perform a lot better than they have been.
The time will run out in this game with MAHOU being up 2.5k hit points. So, it was very interesting. ATLUS looked like they were going to win it, but then they made that error, and that really turned the game around, which really did cost them.
Absolutely, but 2-2 is the score now, and so now, looking very even. I believe we're off to Asia.
Yes, so while we do that, before we switch across, we'll quickly go through the battle results of this game.
Absolutely.
And we'll see on ATLUS there, both the Arties, Hornet and Giraturo and the CGCs picking up 3k damage each. So obviously the Artie was working, but obviously not putting out enough damage to try and bleed MAHOU's Chieftains. And as you can see on MAHOU's Chieftains, all 4 of them did 0 damage. Those poor guys there. Melon, Narwhal Legend, Build the Wall, and Swamp Cabbage, again being set on fire for the second time in this series. All did 0 damage. Those poor tanks.
And it's interesting, the Leopard actually coming top damage. Double Leopard actually proving quite effective on steps. 4,000 damage, 3,000 damage. I mean, MAHOU made it work. They just really made it work.
So now, even though that MAHOU did have 4 tanks do 0 damage, they really picked it up with the rest of the tanks that they had holding positions in their base, and that's where the damage came from MAHOU. And as you can see, the damage spread from ATLUS is mainly come from the Arties. The Arties, Nipper and the Return did majority of the damage for ATLUS, but obviously they just weren't punishing them enough.
Yeah, this looked like ATLUS's game for a long time, but I think the throw from ATLUS came purely from that 9-0 push. Being able to blind push that, and I guess MAHOU kind of got lucky to be able to rotate so quickly and get into position so quickly, but had that not occurred, yes, that push kind of would have worked, but I really feel it was an uncoordinated push. MAHOU had the disadvantage. They were down tanks, they were down HP, but they set up perfectly, they got the defense, and ATLUS just blind pushed in and lost tanks, and it was all over.
So now we move across to the HK server, and our first map will be on Himmelsdorf with MAHOU defending.
Yes, so that means we need to head over to Hong Kong.
I'm already there. I'm waiting for you now.
Yep, on the way.
So when Napalmer switches across to HK, again, we'll have a bit of time to kill, so we'll go through breaking down those 2 games on steps, go through them a little bit more depth since we weren't able to cover through everything. But yeah, so again, it's a coin flip for both teams at the moment, looking from the North American games where they went 1 for 1, and it wasn't like a team won on their defensive maps. So Sorry, I do apologize. No, I think I'm right. No, I'm wrong. Sorry. Yeah, I'm wrong. So Atlas won on Mahu won on Atlas's defense, and Atlas won on Mahu's defense. So, and then this time it was switched around where both teams won on their defense. So it's not like one team is dominant on the defensive side. Um, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see on how the rest of these games play out. It seems to be that currently, what changes the game is a team making a very blind push and which causes an error coming from that team, and that's how the game is turned. So if both teams can eliminate that aspect, then the games are probably a little more closer. But again, it also could be the fact that like each team could be forcing the error to be made from either side.
Absolutely.
So
But let me update the score sheet. So now it's 2-2.
yep. So we have 7 minutes before we go into game, so we can quickly go through these.
Has it
Maps
popped?
if you want.
Yes, it has. I'm on my way.
That's right. I'll quickly clear off the strat sketch while you get yourself sorted.
All good.
So yeah, while we switch to while we get everything sorted, again, I don't think Napalmer has mentioned it, but in chat we will be giving away. We'll be doing a giveaway for codes. It'll be a lava camo. Will, uh, will be the reward, and throughout the stream we'll be putting in keywords in the chat. So make sure you keep an eye on chat. Even though this is 15 minutes delayed, you'll probably see it already in chat. But do keep an eye on what's happening in there, so you might be able to get the chance to win a code.
Absolutely. We've given away one code already. And unfortunately, this is on a 10-minute delay, so I'll be trying to do codes throughout the games while I'm fixing technical difficulties. So make sure you check the code, check the chat every now and again for a keyword to enter the draw. It'll be a random draw, so it's fair for everybody.
So yeah, are you ready on the strat sketch? We have 5 minutes. Or 6 minutes,
Yes. I'll just give me one. Have you changed the map over?
yes.
Awesome. Let me swap over and I'll let you talk.
Yep. So I'll quickly start placing tanks for Atlas's defense, and we'll then go through it. I'm only placing a couple of tanks in positions that need to be, because I don't want to place a ton of things everywhere. We don't need that. So Atlas's defense was a pretty sorry, are you on the scene now?
Yes, I am. I'm also
Okay,
trying to do a code, so.
That's right. So Atlas's defense was pretty set up on how you would place South spawners steps. You have a tank sitting in there on the ramp here at J3, one tank sitting at H4, and then you had your three chiefs in these hold down positions here. Then you had the super conk. Sorry, he wasn't not there. He was behind this rock. Do apologize. So it's very standard setup on a defense on steps for South spawn, and this is the typical lineup you'll probably see teams run when they are defending on any kind of map. Obviously, you had the EBR being passive in these bushes here to try and get vision on anything that came through here. And obviously, MAHOU did a right thing by acting like they were going to make a push through here, and they tried to flush out a tank that was here, and obviously try and force Atlas to fall back. But again, it didn't quite happen. Like even with the majority of force that they had there, MAHOU really had to make a different decision and force them to play around the outside of the map and play down the 8 line. I think that's what ended up with. So yeah, and it come down to Atlas being strong on the defense, and it pretty much became it was pretty much rotated as a counter clock. So when the push came down from MAHOU into this corner, Atlas took care of these tanks a bit. Sorry, not the ping. They took care of the tanks that were here, and this EBR here was able to get out for free and clear out the RD that they had here. Same with the leopard, and then put 3 on cap. And in the meantime, MAHOU took forever to dig out the stuff that was in the base, and by the time they took 3 on cap, Atlas had 2 907s rotating back through base and able to reset, and the RD from Atlas were able to reset the cap. So the push from MAHOU was a little bit slow, and Atlas were able to see that push coming from way before MAHOU could actually react. So that's when they were able to clear this for free and had plenty of time to clear out the stuff in base and pressure on Cap. So it was really nicely timed by ATLUS. They read the game very well and able to put one up on MAHOU. And then coming for MAHOU on the defense, they did something similar as what they did on Karelia, where they were very aggressive down this flank, and they took these positions very early in AA and forced any tanks that were here from ATLUS to pull back, because the Chiefs were in a dominant position here, and really they couldn't push any MAHOU couldn't push any further from here. If they did, they would have been farmed by the Leopard, was in the back here at A3 behind the rock from ATLUS.
Yeah, exactly. But they can't push any further from there because double arty as well. Even if they get spotted by poking up there, they're not really going to be able to achieve anything.
So ATLUS, MAHOU did the right thing here by putting a line down the map, and this was the positions that they end up playing in the end.
You need to ready as well. Sorry. And move yourself in.
So one thing that I really love with the strat that MAHOU did for this map is they pretty much did a line straight down the map, down that, and it was really good because ATLUS couldn't take this corner. I'll get rid of this green line. Sorry, ATLUS couldn't retake this corner because of the two Chiefs here, and ATLUS would end up playing very strong down here. So in the end, ATLUS were caught out in the push that came from MAHOU when they had two tanks here. It was a 907 and a 279E. And MAHOU were able to rotate all their tanks around, unlit, get into here. And by the time they got to here, that's when they were spotted by the 907 or 279E. And unfortunately, these two guys were just ended up dying for free. And then their Chiefs were just stuck in here. They got bled by Artie for quite a bit. And then MAHOU pushed two of their Chiefs into this ridge here, under their gun lines. And unfortunately, one of them was set on fire, so they lost that pretty quick. So this position didn't have enough pressure on there, so ATLUS were able to retake it. And then, obviously, this top part of the map was for free. So that was really good by ATLUS to taking care of this position while MAHOU still had a lot of their tanks here. And then, obviously, MAHOU then rotated positions into defensive locations where they had a couple of tanks sitting in the back behind the rocks here at K0. And ATLUS had to make a play because this time was 3 minutes. They pushed tanks down to this corner, and unfortunately, Kicker wasn't quite with his team when it happened. He was way ahead, so when Kicker was spotted, he was here, and the other two 97s were back here. So Kicker was got removed for free, and then these two 97s got bled on the cross when they got to here. And unfortunately, that's what turned the game for MAHOU, and that's when they were able to swing it back in their favour.
Indeed, and we've got 20 seconds before the next game. Himmelsdorf, MAHOU versus ATLUS. This will be a very interesting fight. I've been looking to see lots of 279s, lots of chieftains, maybe a mouse, maybe. Please.
Look, one thing I like is 50Bs. 50Bs, I want to bring back 50B meta on maps because I ran them in campaign and they were absolutely excellent. And I love it how
Speak of the devil.
50Bs.
350Bs.
Any chance I could run double 50B, I would. So we'll quickly look at ATLUS's lineup. Since ATLUS is defending, they've got 3 50Bs, 6 279Es, and the rest are chieftains. So a pretty strong lineup there from ATLUS. And MAHOU, they've got 3 mouses, 7 279Es, a chieftain, 2 VKs, and a 430U. So, another heavy lineup coming out from MAHOU, and they've made a few changes to their team.
But look at all the 279s by ATLUS. It's just Chief, 279, 50B. Really trying to play more defensive, which makes sense because they're on the defense. But triple mouse by MAHOU, that's something I certainly was looking forward to. So best of both worlds, you get 50Bs, I get mouse. Let's see who wins on that engagement.
So looking at both teams, ATLUS, their initial lineup with their Chiefs, they got 2 going to the window in the middle of the map at D5 and D6. They've got 279E playing the corner. Oh no, he's playing the window, sorry. MAHOU had Marta and the Chieftain play the ramp. He got spotted and now he's just rotating into position. And if you look at MAHOU's 279Es, they've been pushing down the 1-2 line.
Yeah, this looks like a very interesting, potentially even a full commit, or maybe a delayed commit. And interesting as well, we've seen Rainbow Assassin being substituted in for MAHOU on the Hong Kong server, potentially because he would have the better ping.
Yeah, so one thing I like at the moment is that you look at the 50Bs from ATLUS sitting in A0. That is a beautiful ambush. Oh, if they can pull something off, which unfortunately won't happen at this stage.
But imagine the potential if it did.
Yeah, each clip got 4,800 clip potential there. So anything that comes around that corner is going to get blasted. But
Indeed.
yeah, look at Mahu's lineup. They're pretty much caught in like one corner of the map. And that's the back left-hand corner, and they're just very heavy there.
Sorry,
This
just
is
setting
interesting.
something.
I believe you should need to have a look at Brick the Wall in the 430U right now. This is an interesting position.
Build the wall. Oh! Build the wall is building the wall.
He is building the wall, literally, people.
Look
That's
at
why he
that.
has a name.
Holy. So what has happened here? He has somehow been boosted up, and I wasn't paying attention to this at the time. He's been boosted up onto the wall, but they pushed the tree down as well, so that he's fully camouflaged. So
And he has a cam in it as well.
wait, does he have a no way. He
has a camo net.
He has a camo net. Oh, that's incredible. Wow. So basically what's happening here is Build the Wall's able to completely spot down the cable. This is incredible strat. I love this.
This is awesome. So as we can see, the 50Bs from ATLUS are taking control of hill, and now they have hill control. There's nothing there from Mahu to try and put pressure on the hill, and if they do, they'll just get clipped out by the 50Bs.
I might need
So,
to
yeah.
I might need to correct myself here. I believe it might actually be MAHOU on defense. This
Yeah, Mahu's defending.
right, that would help. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah, it's my fault. My bad. So yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense now. With Build the Wall, he's effectively able to spot the middle of the map, and he's also effectively able to spot the K-line, but he's also able to spot the diagonal. So basically, any kind of push that ATLUS makes here, it's going to be really difficult for them to get it through undetected. And this is incredible. Build the wall, building the wall.
Oh, Mori-chan in the 2790 can see it happening.
I can see the blind. Yeah, they've noticed the tree down. They must think he's like on the... look at this, the blind shots are coming in on the ground level, but they're not hitting the tank because the tank's on the wall. This is incredible.
They're trying to figure out what's going on, and I think ATLUS was seeing a click that he's actually not on the ground. He's actually up above on the wall. But
This is the ultimate. Look at this.
they're pushing in like...
They know he's there, but they don't know he's on the wall.
And if you have a look at Mahu, got their two mouses tucked in on the wall. They're waiting for things to be pushed around. So this could be interesting. The blind push coming in from ATLUS could cost them here.
It would help if I actually knew that this was MAHOU's defense earlier. This makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we're seeing still a lot of slow play. ATLUS slowly trying to surround here. But this is a very almost toxic sort of camp. A lot of 279s, a lot of mouse, a lot of HP. And completely shutting down any potential of a 1-2 push. So ATLUS is really forced to make a 5, 6, 7, 8 line play, but build a wall. With that wall tactic, he will be able to spot anything, which means MAHOU has got early information and they know exactly what to do.
And ATLUS are just slowly creeping forward, trying to get a couple of easy shots out, but I don't think they can. How well set up MAHOU are right now in this part of the map, and this is again, like you said, it's a very, I won't use the word, it's a very annoying camp.
Yeah, it's a
camp,
toxic.
It's a very,
Okay.
annoying.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's interesting because ST Tank here, even if he was to get all the way up to this corner here, he's still not going to spot build the wall. Like, this is actually... Like, this brings back Wargaming League memories almost. This is probably the most incredible play I have ever seen.
And again, ATLUS are still blind firing the ground where build the wall is, and he's taken 300 hit points of damage, but
They know he's
shots
there.
disconnected.
They know he's there. They've seen the tree be knocked down, and they know they're getting spotted. They know there's a tank there, but look at all the shots coming in.
There is one that's connected.
Surely, like, someone on the ATLUS side... There we go!
There we go.
Now they've figured it
There goes
out.
Build the Wall. Unfortunately, he's going to die for free, but But I believe that is a good meme from Mahu then.
6 minutes. He lived for 6 minutes sitting
So
on top of the wall.
ATLUS have 4 minutes now to try and break this camp, and Yuhei taking a couple of shots there from the 279 is sitting at K4. This camp from Mahu is very strong. There's nothing they can do. It's very hard to break.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really difficult.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you reckon ATLUS can try and pull this off?
Oh, look, double 50B. This is going to be hard to break. Triple 50B. The only way I see ATLUS making this, now they've killed Build a Wall, they're going to have to really group and make sure they have all the alleys covered here and really just face plant themselves onto this cat circle in the corner here. But
And which is what they seem to be doing right now. They're moving their 50Bs and Chase 279s into a position and really taking that middle alleyway down the 4 line.
yeah, this is an interesting way to dig it out. So they know there's going to be tanks in this alleyway, so they're actually trying to dig out that first and then make the play. Because you can see here, you got ST tank and the 279, the other 279 making the play down here as well. Trying to surround by all sides and really catch MAHOU out on which way they should be focusing. But
Kiko will be able to take out Martyr and the Chieftain there on his own. Very easy.
Indeed, but look at this, we've got tanks pushing right into a two-way crossfire here, having to commit all the way into Martyr here, and I don't know if they're able to push out because they know how many tanks are in there and they just can't escape. ATLUS, yes, they are up on HP, but 2 minutes to take out 20,000 HP? Now 18,000, but still, that's a lot of HP to take out in a short space of time.
ATLUS has done a really good job by taking out the mouse hills on cap and the Chieftain for free. And now they've got this 4 line cover and they're able to catch in a crossfire on Mahu. But if the tanks that are on the 3 line, they're pushing right in.
Yeah, it's interesting. MAHOU trying to re-push into that position, and 279 50B is coming around the back, catching them off guard.
The rotate from Mahu, the mobility of the tanks was very slow, so Mahu just weren't able to keep up with them, and ATLUS are up 5k hit points right now.
This is actually working for ATLUS. This is completely unexpected. They've just completely surrounded them and they've bled them, and I don't know where. I think MAHOU's completely lost in which way to go. You know, there's a couple of tanks here, a couple of tanks here, and they don't know which way to go. And when they do commit to a side, ATLUS just comes around behind them.
ATLUS really made a really good push then on breaking this camp from Mahu, and even though they got 3 on cap, it's not going to be enough. It's just God, Jaho, and the 279, and they'll easily clean him up. But the 4 line push coming out from ATLUS was the key to breaking that. They got two tanks down for free, and then they were able to push out and flank the tanks that were just too slow to move. And Mahu just didn't have the ability to try and rotate with them.
Yeah. Like, it was a great play, and honestly, building the wall, I think MAHOU won the moral victory here. Unfortunately, though, ATLUS won the real game.
ATLUS were able to come out in that game with still 10k hit points on their whole team. So, looks like the MAHOU just weren't bleeding the tanks enough as the push was happening.
Yeah, look, it looked so promising for MAHOU. It looked so promising. Having that almost 3,000 IQ level building the wall tactic, having all those tanks, all that HP ready for that push, and then the push didn't come where they expected it. It came from a completely different angle. They were completely surrounded, they were completely caught off guard, and it was all over before it began.
And essentially, MAHOU just lost the tank for free because built, as you said, the push didn't come from that 5 line or down the hill. It came from the 4 line in the end, and that they just were set up for a banana push or the 5 line push. They weren't set up for a 4 line push, no, because they just split them in half.
Indeed, but that now makes it 3-2 to ATLUS, so ATLUS taking the lead back again.
So we'll quickly have a look at the post-game battle results. So we'll look at ATLUS first. Kicker and the Chieftain picking up 4,000 damage. ST Tank picking up 3.7. And Anakin and the 50B picking up 3.7 as well. Those 50B is really showing their clip potential and making it work, honestly. why we need to bring back 50Bs. Come on, make it happen.
Bring back the 50Bs. If you could keep talking, I've got a message to send.
So with this Rainbow being subbed in, he really showed that the ping was really working for him. He picked up 3,000 damage. For the 2790s coming out from MAHOU, picked up 2k damage. Um, yeah, it just looked like the damage spread was really in ATLUS's favor then. Like MAHOU just couldn't keep up with the push, even though everyone was a slow tank. They just couldn't keep up with the push happening from ATLUS. So honestly, the camp was a good idea, and they expected a push coming from two flanks, but they were proven wrong. And I'm guessing that's how they found out the break from that camp. How to break that camp was quite how they know how they know it can be countered. Sorry, losing my words then. But yeah, honestly, um, both teams' plan or strats for that game, I really liked them. The boosted 430U was a really good idea. Something I learnt there as well. He was able to be unspotted for quite some time, really trying to kill time for ATLUS, and that's what they did. He was able to kill a lot of time, but not enough time where ATLUS was still able to make an all-in push and absolutely just split MAHOU's defense. So yeah, now we move. We have ATLUS on the defense, and we are about to go into our next game.
Yep, indeed we are. And I'm having problems not being able to message someone a code, so that's fun.
Awesome. So, looking at the lineup, ATLUS have brought back the 350Bs again. They have 5 279Es, and then the rest will be Chieftains. And then MAHOU, they've got four 279Es, 7 Chieftains, or 8 Chieftains, I can't read, sorry, 8 Chieftains, can't read, and then 3 Batchats. So this will be interesting how MAHOU play this. I'm guessing they're going to continue with their plan of being aggressive, taking map control, and then just trying to bleed them out. It seems like this is what MAHOU are very strong at. They are very good at taking map control, and obviously,
I'm still having problems with camouflage, but looks like you might be calling this game. Have we got
technical abilities.
Yeah, everyone just completely stopped moving. I think I might be calling this game as a draw, maybe? Not quite sure what's going on here.
I'm just getting confirmation from our big man.
Yes.
I'm guessing there is. I think a couple of guys may have DC'd.
I think a lot of guys have DC'd. There's a lot of tanks not just sitting there. MAHOU guys don't seem to have any problem. They're making a play, but
ATLUS seem that
they all seem to be DC'd. No, I definitely don't think it's their plan. Because they're not shooting, they're all just sitting there.
Yeah.
And they're all sitting side on as well. Yeah, I think this might be a called game. This is unusual. I really would hope we had proper information about what's going on here, but
I'm trying to get word from our big man, but he's not really... Okay, back to garage. Yep, so somebody has crashed, so slight technical difficulties from one team. So yeah, we just need to go back to garage and we will fix that up while that game gets cleaned out. So yeah, unfortunately, that game was quickly scrapped. We'll quickly reset and then we'll get back into it. So the score is 3-2 to ATLUS, is that correct?
Yeah, still 3-2. Fortunately, gives me time to actually change over the camouflage because I made a mistake with that. But yeah, unfortunately, that was someone crashed, so they're having to restart the game.
Yep, which is alright.
Yep, absolutely fine. I'm actually kind of sweating here. This light's actually really intense.
I was not able to cool my room down enough, so unfortunately I had to turn up the fan. But yeah, as we wait for everything to be reset, so this could be interesting. So obviously the teams will I'm guessing the teams will stay with the same lineups. So as I was saying before, MAHOU's plan, and seems like they're very strong at, is taking map control, being very aggressive in map control and then holding it, and that seems to be what the key element for that game is. That they do that and they do it very well. So yeah, it's okay. So now I believe we need to wait for the game to be reset while we so while we do that, we just need to get confirmation how long exactly that will take.
Sure. Well, while we wait, I might quickly go to a BRB, and we'll just wait for some confirmation. So I'll be back in about a minute.
Sit tight, everyone.
And I think we're about ready to go. Let's just quickly come back to large camera. Yep. All right, we're good. So we're about 30 seconds out. Yeah, apologies for technical difficulties, folks. In the meantime, I've been trying to sort out codes as well, and fortunately, I've got the aircon on as well. It's a little bit cooler. I might not look like a beetroot anymore.
But yeah, so as we get back into it, we've got 20 seconds before we come back in. So the score is 3-2 to ATLUS. And now we have ATLUS on the defense, I believe. Yes.
Yes. ATLUS is now on defense.
So yeah, it looks like they will be using the same lineups each time. So we'll run through it as we get into battle again, and we'll make sure, hopefully, that no one crashes.
Well, unfortunately, if they do crash, I'm pretty sure you're only allowed one restart. So see how we go. But heading in the game now.
So again, ATLUS have. Let's just wait for a sec. Sorry. ATLUS have 350Bs, 5 279Es, and then the rest chieftains, while MAHOU have 4 279Es, 8 chieftains, and 3 bat shots.
Yeah, it's interesting. MAHOU running the triple bat chat instead of a triple 50B, a little bit lighter, but I'm sure they've got plans for it. Probably will be going hill with a triple bat chat. That's very old meta, but I'd like to see it work. And lots of ATLUS tanks are now moving, so we can confirm the game is officially on. Excuse me.
Karelia having a little bit of ping issues there.
Not quite sure. But we're seeing a lot of ATLUS tanks going towards the hill. Mori Chan just hit the rock and is a bit slower to the hill, but a lot of tanks going up to the hill by ATLUS. 279 chieftain and a second chieftain being kept in the middle, but on the contrary, we're looking at MAHOU pushing through 1-2, incredibly aggressive, same strat as before. This is actually really, really bad for ATLUS. There's so many tanks on the hill. I don't know why they're pushing so much. They know that triple bat chat will be going to the hill, and yes, we're already starting to see rotations. We're already starting to see ST tank, for example, coming back. We're starting to see Mori-chan, Yuhei, all the 279s starting to move back into position. They're expecting to have to defend the base, but defending the base from that corner might not be as easy as you think.
ATLUS have rotated back into defensive positions now in their base. You got 279Es tucking in at K6. You got the 279E tucking in at H5, and the chieftain as well supporting that 279E. And
looks like Capilano has DC'd again, unfortunately, but that means ATLUS is now one tank down.
Unfortunately, so that is 150B that will not be in the fight, unfortunately. So ATLUS need to try and win this hill, and they've pushed MAHOU back off the hill now.
But MAHOU, they're taking no casualties here. Batchat sure has taken a lot of damage, but they've got now that pretty well. And there's a lot of tanks ready in ambush at the bottom. This is really bad if ATLUS pushes on this. They're playing the ridgeline. Thank goodness they're not committing, because this could be disastrous if they commit fully. But MAHOU's push has also slowed down, and it's turning into almost like a split straight through the middle of the map.
50Bs will be farming from the hill, and they've got the chieftains there as well. They'll have Kicker and the chieftain just making sure that he keeps vision on that push that comes back up the hill. And MAHOU have really split their forces here. They've got a strong force down the south, and also they've got a lot of tanks sitting in A9.
Build the wall, unfortunately not building any more walls. He's sitting quite comfortable in the house, but taking a little bit of damage from the hill. 50Bs have a pixel, I guess, on the engine. He's taking one shot of damage, a couple of shots not fully connecting. And ATLUS, yes, it's their defense, but they seem quite happy. MAHOU has not really committed that aggressive. Yes, they've got a lot of tanks there. Yes, they might be trying to push back in, but unfortunately, I don't know, this isn't good. For
Capilano has rejoined the fight, so he's now back on the hill.
Capilano, where is...
He's back on the hill now.
Ah, I see.
He has reconnected. So, ATLUS's tanks on the hill, the chieftain's 50Bs are unloading into Melon in the putting HE rounds into Melon, sitting in the pocket of G3. just trying to bleed him down with HE, and that's what they seem to be doing right now. And he
And
might.
look at this line of guns from Atlas. Look at all these tanks, all just sitting side by side, putting salvo after salvo out.
And
Yes, there's a
while
hold
Atlas
down
and Chibi
chieftain there,
focused on,
Melancholy, but he's bled so much just getting to that position. Was it worth it?
well, while they focus on Melon and the Chieftain firing HE, MAHOU are making a repush down the zero line to take control of Hill again.
Yes, and Atlas is not prepared for this. They're going to have 50 Bs that are on reload because they've just been trying to dump shells onto that chieftain. Here comes the push by MAHOU.
And while that's happening as well, MAHOU are pushing their tanks in the south into the courtyard and trying, not in the courtyard, sorry, but into the 4 line to push Atlas back.
And look at this, 279's moving up to lead the charge. Are they coming in? Yes, they are. Sensei is super leading the charge, moving in. Kicker taking most of the fire. Sensei ignoring him though, pushing on forwards. Sensei taking a lot of damage, caught in the crossfire. The MAHOU guys are not committing to this fight. They're actually really hesitating. They're back. Oh, that's an Amarak.
2
Unlucky.
tanks go down for MAHOU. Sensei does get Amarak. I don't even know how much hit points was on, but the hesitation from MAHOU's re-push there was what cost them then. They lost a lot of hit points for it.
But we're seeing a repush coming in through the middle of the map as well, and the south half of the map. We're seeing Primarch Legend, Love Hitman, Big Guns, moving on, attacking the base. And unfortunately, this means Atlas is going to have to rotate a lot of tanks off the hill to deal with this. So both sides are actually kind of giving uphill a lot here. Unfortunately though, for MAHOU, it doesn't look like they'll be able to take control of it back because they've lost so much HP. And that Amarak 279 is extremely unlucky. Let's put them in a really tight spot in terms of HP.
And as you see the rotate from Atlas is now coming down, you see the 50Bs just storming off the hill and now going to push right through and use their clip potential to take out a lone chieftain, which will be build the wall. But no, the 250Bs are ignoring that. The Chibis are going to focus on the guys down the 5 line.
An ST tank leading the charge, pushing back around. Build the wall is going to go down to a Nikki in the 50B, and the cap has started, but unfortunately Zerail is going to take a massive amount of damage. Capilano also taking a lot of damage, trying to keep himself alive. Doesn't want to die here because that would be really unfortunate because he won't be able to put out any more damage with the clip. But now it looks like the MAHOU guys have recaptured hill, but the fight's not on the hill, the fight's on the cap. They initiated the cap play, and Atlas has just pulled most of their tanks off the hill, and they're just completely crushing this. Atlas is up almost 10,000 HP here. This is not looking good for MAHOU. This might be a 4-2.
Yeah, Atlas did preempt MAHOU to re-push the cap, and they just sent majority of their force back and just committed everything down south to secure their base, and they did that very comfortably. And now, as you can see, that Atlas are up 14k hit points, while it's just tanks in the bat chat on the hill by himself.
And the bat chat's giving a friendly salute to Tuku. He knows it's all over, and he's getting the game done. Good sportsmanship.
Notoria and Yuhei pick up 3 kills in that game.
Yes, and that brings it to 4-2. Atlas now taking the lead significantly. This is not looking good for MAHOU at all.
Fortunately.
So I will quickly update the score, and we are now 4-2, as I said. Certainly not what I was expecting this early into the fight. I was expecting it to stay quite even and split towards the end, but Atlas taking a very convincing breakaway here.
So I'm unsure what happens now. I believe we have a bit of time between games again. Since we had to restart this, it's still showing us that we still have another battle to be played.
Yes, so I'm not 100% sure about what's going on here. This might just be a tech draw on both sides. We'll get more information when we can. But do we want to have a look at the post-game stats on that battle?
Yes, we will, since we have a bit of time. So yeah, as we can see, coming from Atlas, Tuku and the Chieftain picked up 3.7. Aniki had another good game in 50B, picking up 3.5. Yuhei and the 279 picking up 3k as well. So a few tanks over 3k there from Atlas. And as we see, Notoria and Yuhei picking up 3 kills each. And then looking at MAHOU, God Jaiho was the only guy to get over 3k damage in his Chieftain. And then Boba Bebel, Bix, that's a weird name, in the 279 picking up 2.4. So Atlas really did play that game very well, and they rotated their tanks off the hill accordingly and were able to secure their base once again. And yeah, coming from MAHOU, they were very hesitant on that re-push to hill. They had 2 tanks go up, and then they had a few tanks poke that ridge, and they just lost a lot of hit points to the crossfire that Atlas had. Crossfire was really good, but I don't know if MAHOU committed their tanks up on the hill. Would they have won that?
Not sure, not sure. And it looks like from this game, a lot of people are moving out. Um, so I don't think we're going to be seeing this game. I think this is just because I've had to reschedule the fight. But
Yes.
yeah, I definitely think MAHOU with a triple bat chat looked promising at the start, but I don't know, late game re-pushing back in. It's having that triple bat chat, not having that much armor, not having that much HP, it's going to be really, really difficult to try and do that repush. And yes, in the end, they did take the hill, but at what cost? Because they also tried to make a play on the cap at the same time, and they projected that play, so ATLUS was able to say, okay, you know what, you can have the hill, we'll take the rest of the map, we'll call all your tanks, thank you very much.
Yep. So yeah, we have okay. So unfortunately, we don't have time to break down those two maps. We've only got 3 minutes before we go into the next game. Unfortunately, so the next map is Sand River, with MAHOU on the defense again. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that we can't go through those two games because honestly, I really want to go through the first game of MAHOU's
Build
defense.
the wall! Build the wall!
Actually, building the wall.
Build the wall!
So yeah. So, MAHOU really, I think they need a. The plans, their strats are working to, like they're working, but ATLUS is just playing that little bit better. They're playing that one step ahead of MAHOU at the moment, which is really good. It's really awesome to see that both teams are putting up strong games, but one team is just that one step ahead, and that's what it's coming down to these games at the moment. So I wonder if MAHOU will change how they will change their plan in this next two games coming on Sand River.
Yeah, look, Sand River, this is an interesting map. I mean, a lot of people dislike it, myself included. You can see two different types of plays. You can see a very, very toxic hard camp, which is really hard to dig out. Alternatively, you could see like extreme rushes down the K line. So it's going to be really interesting to see just exactly what MAHOU's going to do on this.
So yeah, don't forget to join the special battle because it has popped.
Yes, thank you for that. Let me quickly do that. Yep, we're in spectator. Good to go.
Drag myself in. All right, so we have a minute left before we get into these next games. So yeah, this will be interesting on how these next two games go. So 4-2 to ATLUS, is that correct?
4-2. And while we wait, I'm going to travel back in time. And I'm actually going to put a code draw right now. So currently we've got one going, which is actually 15 minutes in the past. So we're going to do the draw right now. So we've got a little bit of time, so I'm just going to do the draw.
Yep. So we've got 40 seconds left. Teams are rapidly picking their team because they don't have much time. So we're just making sure they have the correct lineup. Yeah. So this will be the last set of games on the HK server, and then we'll after this we'll be going back to the North American server for 2 games. If MAHOU do start winning a few more games, but yeah. So honestly, I really want to see what kind of plans that both teams have for these kind of maps. I'm not a fan of Sand River. I can never get the gist of it, but I'd be good to see what these two clans have. So yeah, we are going to battle now, Napalmer. Are you ready?
Yes, I forgot the ammo setup. I think no, it's on the right one. Yay! That's
awesome.
That's always good. Might need to update the score though, but we're working on this. Alrighty. Do you want to talk about lineups?
So the two, so looking at ATLUS lineup, they've got 2 i7s, 8 Chieftains, 3 907s, 1 EBR, and a GWE 100. And looking at MAHOU's side on their defense, they have 8 Chieftains, 4 907s, 2 EBRs, and 2 Arties. So looks like they're playing a little more safe, a little more defensive. But I reckon they're still going to try and take map control and then hold positions. It seems what they are very strong at. So for starters, we have the double EBR run coming out from MAHOU down the south, and same with ATLUS. ATLUS's lone EBR going into the middle of the map and getting vision.
Yeah, and it's interesting, MAHOU, even on the defense, running double artillery. That's quite a bold move. And I'm pretty sure it is the defense. I'm trying to seek confirmation, but I'm pretty sure this is MAHOU's defense. Would you mind checking that for me, Mr. Ravi?
It is MAHOU's defense.
It is MAHOU's defense. Thank you very much for that. So, the double RD on the defense, that's going to be a really interesting play. MAHOU not really taking the map control that they're normally known for. Yes, they are grouping and they are sending a couple of tanks south, but not this sort of take the whole map approach. MAHOU really playing more conservative this game. Lots of ping.
Lots of ping happens. Sensei does lose a little bit of hit points as he moves down into a K3, K4 position, trying to play hold down there. And MAHOU are rotating 97s to the north to try and put a little more presence up there because they see that ATLUS aren't playing down south, so that's why they're rotating tanks up there.
But is it too little too late though? Because ATLUS has already had plenty of time to set up in the north. In fact, most of their forces are up there. And this could end up really badly if ATLUS full commits, because a lot of the MAHOU tanks have already committed really far to the south. Remember that MAHOU does have the double artillery, so ATLUS will have one more tank. And also MAHOU is running double EBR, as you can see, as only single EBR on the ATLUS side, so ATLUS technically has two more tanks, I guess if you could say that, not scouts, not supports, like actual assault tanks. So a push here could really be devastating. So rail taking damage from artillery. And I don't know, this is a really interesting play. ATLUS really surrounding here, which obviously you would expect for being on attack, but the rail still spotted. Artillery is going to keep hammering away here, and these 907s are trapped. They can't really rotate back out without taking damage because there's chieftains up here, and now we have an EBR. We have Kagumi up here sitting in a bush spotting. All these 907s are now spotted, and artillery is having a field day. They're just taking shot after shot. Return coming in with the IS-7, making an aggressive play. I'm assuming he's going to try and spot for artillery, but we already have the EBR. And this is where MAHOU's double arty is coming into play. Return taking a massive amount of damage in return.
As we see this push happening from ATLUS coming into the middle part of the map, you see that the four chieftains down south of MAHOU pushing down G1 and trying to clear out that IS-7 that was there and try and take control of F1.
Half-Light's in a really tough position here. Rainbow Assassin overextending to try and get kill shots, but Capilana and Turbans, I believe, are taking shots at him as well.
Yes, ATLUS do have a couple of tanks in base. The few chieftains saying hold down to try and punish the cross that happens at G1. And the first tank to get the kill is ST tank killing the EBR. Tanks fed, field dies very easily. And now ATLUS have control of that C0 corner.
Half-Light is panicking. He knows he has to try and get safe. Rainbow Assassin is on the hunt, trying to get the kill shot. Already taking him down to a little over one shot. If he high rolls, is he going to take it out? No, it's going to take another shot to get the kill on Half-Light. But Half-Light knows he's dead. He's trying to live as long as he can. Because if he dies, then it's not going to be advantageous for ATLUS. They're already one tank up.
And the push from ATLUS is coming through the mid now. Look at this. You got three chieftain, the two 907s and the chieftain taking out the 907s from MAHOU. One of them is set on fire. Bobble is set on fire. He gets taken out next. Now Zerial is the next tank to be focused. ATLUS really did make a really good job at punishing those 907s. They were out of the fight. They couldn't do anything about it. The chieftains from base just couldn't farm them as they pushed through.
They were completely trapped there. There was no way they were getting out of there alive. Yamato Noob moving up. And a couple of tanks in base by MAHOU, but they're down 4,000 HP. This is not looking good for MAHOU. Double RD on defense really starting to prove their demise. Especially having the double RD, double EBR. MAHOU just not having the tanks to be able to hold positions. Lots of pinging. All I can hear in the background is just ping, 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 ping. Rainbow Assassin now one shot. Gojiro, I'm not trying to pronounce it. I'm going to call him God. It's a sign. Both on incredibly low HP. Mori-chan, full HP, along with Aniki coming back in to get ready to repush. And looking like Capilana and Tuku also grouping up as well. So Rainbow Assassin and God here are about to take another blow. MAHOU just not being able to hold this.
the double RD are trying to punish the ATLUS Chieftains as they re-push SG1 position, and a Rainbow Safety will be the next tank to fall. If they can get the push up, they do. And now they're going to try and take a couple of tanks, going to take out live Hitmen. And
Capilano going for the ram.
Does lose a bit of hit points for that, and Sensei's on his own. Capilano should be able to win that 1v1 there.
Respect the 1v1.
Nope, ATLUS didn't want to respect it, and Sensei does pick up 3,000 damage before he goes down.
So, not looking great for MAHOU. Now on less than half the HP of ATLUS. And Kagumi has now got free reign. There's not many tanks alive. He knows the double RD is going to be in the south, and he's just making a beeline straight there. Look at that airtime. We'll just ignore the fact that the camo is around the wrong way. I wasn't quite prepared. Yeah, the camo mod, unfortunately. He's sporting the very fancy MAHOU camouflage.
So unfortunately, this will be ATLUS's win. I'm guessing. Looks like MAHOU won't be able to bring this back. Unfortunately, yeah. When it came to the brawling situation, ATLUS had that extra tank to be able to deal with it. Whereas,
almost a ram.
Kagumi trying to do some sick driving skills there. I hope he doesn't drive like this in real life.
He's got the Eurobeat playing, really trying to take out that Conqueror gun carriage, and he's got the kill on that secured. Ted's still looking to try and get a shotgun here. Really backing himself up, trying to get that opportunity, but Kagumi, ooh, not bad, not bad. Kagumi returns fire with an HG shell, 510. But I think it's all over MAHOU. This is a clear-cut ATLUS victory. MAHOU splitting themselves up way too thin. ATLUS just capitalizing on that, having the map control, and it's all over.
Kagumi does pick up his 4th kill for the game, and yeah, I wouldn't say that MAHOU were light. They didn't have the tanks for the brawl.
Exactly.
They weren't able to hold positions, as you mentioned before, and yeah, when it came to them controlling the engagement, they just didn't have they just didn't have the firepower there to control it. So yeah, fortunately, MAHOU do drop another game, which makes it 5-2 for ATLUS, and now
5-2.
Yep.
Not looking great for MAHOU at all, unfortunately. Let's hope that they can catch up to the ATLUS. But shall we go over post-game stats while I prepare for next game?
Yep. So while we have 2 minutes before the next game pops, we'll quickly go through ATLUS's results. You have Hornet in the GWE 100 picking up 3.5k damage. Oh god. In the GWE 100, showing that was he really working well for his team. The rate of fire and also the splash radius is not quite as strong as the CDCs, but the damage he can output is very strong as well. ST Tank in the 97 picking up 3k damage. Kagami in the EBR picking up 2.8 with his 4 kills. Sorry, I forgot to mention that ST Tank picked up 5 kills as well in that game, short from a top gun.
Yeah, he was really dominating that game.
And then the rest of the Chieftains from ATLUS damage spread around between 2k and 2.5. And then you look at MAHOU's tanks, the Chieftain, Kono picking up 3.7. Tedstar again showing how strong he is in Artie, picking up 3.5. Sensei picking up 2.4. So the damage spread from MAHOU was very dominant up the top. But yeah, like we mentioned before, we need to ready up.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah, the damage output that MAHOU had just wasn't quite there. With considering they had a couple of tanks, pretty much they were just there for spotting and splash. Considering that ATLUS had technically 2 tanks up when it came to a brawl. So yeah, we have 45 seconds left to go into the next game. So 5-2 to ATLUS right now, and they have one more game on the HK server, and then until we go back to the North American server for the next couple of games. So,
look, I'd really like to see MAHOU actually have been corrected. MAHOU to be coming back from this. I really want to see some more maps. I don't want us to be over. I think they have the skills, they have the players, they have the strats. They know that they can bring this back. I'm almost cheering for them. It's almost unpatriotic, but I want to see them. I want to see them come back. I want to see a close game.
Same. I'm hoping the ping isn't too much of a factor for MAHOU at the moment. I'm hoping the ping is at least between 150 to 250, so it's at least playable on the HK server. But yeah, while we discuss about that another time, we'll just quickly go through the lineup since we're now in game. So again, ATLUS is on the defense, MAHOU's attacking, and ATLUS have, is that 8 chieftains, sorry?
It's a lot of chieftains. Triple EBR though.
Sorry, that's 9 chieftains coming from ATLUS, 1 STB, 3 EBRs, and 2 CDCs, while MAHOU have 11 chieftains, 1 907, 2 EBRs, and a CGC. So,
World of Chieftains. Hail of the Chief, baby.
When all else fails, bring more chieftains.
That's it. More chieftains wins the game.
Yep. So yeah, I'm guessing, again, with MAHOU attacking with that many chieftains, they're going to have a strong presence in the south and control the middle of the map by putting a lot of pressure in those positions. And then obviously with the triple EBR, they've got one going north, one going south from MAHOU, and then ATLUS has split their EBRs, one south, one mid, and one north. And
Kagumi taking damage, almost flips on the rock.
ST Tank picks up the first kill on Marta.
Marta crest a little bit too far there, taking a lot of damage. Both took a lot of damage, but unfortunately Marta does go down, as you said.
And Kagumi may get punished for it. Nope, he does get out, but still on 200 hit points.
Rainbow Assassin hunting for that kill, but does not quite get it. Kagumi is out of there. But look at this middle play. This is incredibly interesting. We're seeing a lot of chieftains pushing through. Where's that 907? Big guns there. So we're seeing Swamp Cabbage Man, Zerail pushing through the middle. Zerail taking a huge amount of damage, now down to 650 HP.
The chieftains from ATLUS were farming that cross coming in from MAHOU into
That's
the ridge.
Such a premature push. They're taking so much damage from the fight. ATLUS just rotating tanks back in. Zerail 650 HP. Swamp Cabbage Man, yet he's now in a safe position. But there's double artillery coming out from ATLUS. They're just going to keep pounding that. There goes Zerail. 2 tanks killed for free. And MAHOU is down 3 tanks. Well, down 2 tanks, 3 tanks dead.
So they're still up 2k hit points. And look at this. The chieftains from MAHOU at D6 are punishing the tanks that were sitting behind the rock at G8. And now the STB Capelana has to make a push and take out this lone chieftain, Swamp Cabbage Man.
He's going to need support though. Nipa coming in to support. Otherwise, God's going to pick him apart. And Capelana with the track, he's not going to be going anywhere. Surely, but Mori-chan also coming in to support. They really want to win that middle back, but here comes the north play. Rainbow Assassin also leading his charge up in the north there. And MAHOU taking map control back. Unfortunately though, ATLUS losing a lot of map control in the south. That double arty is proving quite troublesome even. Kicker trying to move up with Yuhei to kill these guys in the southern half of the map. Yes, they don't have a lot of HP, and artillery will be absolutely trying to focus to pick that apart. Because if they can pick apart the south here, that opens up ATLUS's play to the base, and it gives them a counter push if they try and assault. And artillery is definitely doing damage. Narwhal is now dead. Yuhei and the other chieftain down here are trying to do a lot of damage, try and pick apart Love Hitman here, and build a wall. Unfortunately, not building any walls in the desert this time. I'm now seeing triple EBRs rotate. ATLUS really, really wants south secured.
So the tanks that were still in this center part of the map at G6, they were not able to get out quick enough, and it sort of delayed the time. And an ignition by Build the Wall. Was he set on fire, or did he set someone on fire?
I do believe he set somebody on fire, and they burned to death to a crisp.
So yeah, ATLUS still down on hit points, and Mori-chan does pick up 3 kills, but ATLUS is still up 2 tanks at the moment. So.
But here comes Rainbow Assassin, full HP, sneaking out the back of ST Tank and Aniki here. Aniki is in a really tough position. He's got tanks in front of him, tanks behind him. He's now down to 154 HP. ST Tank is down to less than 1,000 HP. Rainbow on full HP is in a prime position to farm, and MAHOU is now assaulting the base. They're up 3,000 HP. This is not looking good for ATLUS at all. They're really in a tight spot. Yes, they're making a play on the cap, but Rainbow is already touching base.
One thing you need to mention is that, even that, ATLUS still have their 3 EBRs.
That is true, and they will be able to start capping before MAHOU does, but they're not committing to the cap. Raphael is going for Tedster, trying to get that arty kill. And he missed the shot! He missed the shot on his home server. Tedster is going to stay alive a little bit longer.
Kono does pick up his 4th kill, and it's going to be tight. Two tanks on each cap at the moment. 2 EBRs on MAHOU's cap and 2 chieftains on ATLUS's cap. So I wonder what's going to happen here. You got the EBR. Ted Feld is pushing right in. The 97's got big guns going to die. Ted will be able to get a reset in just a sec.
But all the EBRs were. Oh my goodness!
What was get the reset?
That was in midair as well. That was an incredible volley. That is the home ping advantage by ATLUS right there, and that's a cap. ATLUS has secured the base. Even though MAHOU started first, only having 2 tanks in the cap and the 3 EBRs, they were able to successfully counter cap. And honestly, I think it all came down to the ping there, getting that reset off. That was absolutely incredible. Well done.
One thing that we didn't mention is that Gurutoro actually get a reset on the chieftains on ATLUS's cap, so that was a crucial part as well. But again, the home ping really did make it helpful there for ATLUS to get the reset. To deny the EBR from resetting the cap.
Yeah, absolutely. 6-2 to ATLUS now. This is not going the way I thought it would.
No. So next game is match point, and we need to switch across to the HK server.
We already are on HK.
NA server.
NA server.
NA server. Yes.
Alrighty. Any more thoughts about that game before we want to start wrapping up?
Have you already disconnected?
To NA? No, not yet.
No, you need to go through post-battle results. Sorry, I jumped the gun.
That's fine. Sure, so let's head a quick look at the post-battle results. A lot of damage spread out evenly here. Mori-chan picking up 3 kills that game. Rainbow Assassin doing 3,000 damage, as well as Mori-chan ST Tank, Narwhal. A lot of damage. 0 damage on MAHOU though. Zerail and Boba. Unfortunately, that middle play at the start of the game did not work out in their favor at all. They lost those tanks for free, and I think that's honestly where most of the game started to fall apart for MAHOU. It looked promising, but I think the coordination and the timings of the pushes just were not there. They bled too much HP, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Would you say that they were trying to force the engagement too soon?
I would say they absolutely were trying to force the engagement too soon. They needed the North to be won and properly secure before they started making that middle play, because all those tanks that MAHOU were able to rotate back in and then just physically W-key back into that to kill that. It wasn't coordinated. It felt like MAHOU were really behind the 8 ball there.
Yeah, so well,
Double Arty not proving as effective as I thought it would. Only doing roughly about 1,500-1,600 damage each. Tedster on MAHOU though doing 2,000. I mean, yes, sure, it's a lot of indirect fire damage, but I think it mostly came down to the fact that the Conqueror Gun Carriages, the double, are really putting out the damage in that early game fight, and towards the end, didn't really get the opportunity to.
So, I was really confident with MAHOU's play, but I'm not too sure if the ping was a major factor for this one.
Yeah, look, I'll say that EBR at the end there, if it was not for the ping, I don't think ATLUS would have been able to pull that reset off. That was a mid-air shot. I wish we had instant replay functionality. That was a mid-air shot by all 3 of them, taking it down. I'm pretty sure it was high explosive as well. And ATLUS have got to be absolutely stoked. MAHOU, on the other hand, I don't think they had to be happy about that result. I think they definitely were relying on that EBR to pull off a reset, especially considering that 2 of ATLUS's EBRs were one-shot, and they did stuff around trying to kill that Conqueror Gun Carriage, but just was not to be.
So we currently have 5 minutes before we go into game.
Yep, absolutely. So what I will do, I will travel back in time, and I will start putting a code in chat, and I'll transfer over at NA.
Yep. When you have the chance, can you put on the Strat Sketch stream, and I'll quickly I'll go through a breakdown real quick on. I'll try and get 2 games in, but I'll just do the one.
Sure. That is something you could absolutely do while I get this code sorted. So let's just transfer back. Is that looking good?
Yep.
Yeah, that's looking fine. All right, all yours.
So we'll look at Mahu's defense first up. So I really like what Mahu did, where they took control of the K line, and then but the next thing that they did, I really did dislike, is that they isolated 4 chieftains in this J section, this J pocket here. Even though that Atlas had an I7 here and 2 chieftains in their base, they weren't going to do anything. So it was probably best to keep maybe 2 tanks here, but also mean that they had a strong force, like putting more pressure on the north, because that's where Atlas had a lot of their tanks. Atlas had majority of their tanks sitting up in here, and that's where I believe Mahu made the mistake by trying to push this out, um, and try and win this. Even though Atlas did a counter push by taking out these 97s for free, the passive bush that the EBR had from Atlas was sitting in here. That was a really good bush because these 97s were lit the whole time. They could not get out of there. They were pretty much stuck. They couldn't get out of there safely through the buildings. They were constantly lit. So Artie was just picking them apart all game. Even though we had 2 chieftains back at the back here for Mahu, they just did not pick apart the They couldn't output enough damage when the push came. So again, this is where we mentioned before that Atlas were just a little bit too. Mahu were just a little bit too light, or not too light. Sorry, they didn't have the enough tanks in the brawl or the engagement to take control of it. So Atlas really made the correct play by pushing these guys and having these guys hold for long enough, and then they made a repush with their chieftains to take this out. So very well done by Atlas there. Um, but yeah, we'll quickly go through. Since I got 3 minutes there, we'll go through Atlas's defense. So again, Mahu playing the same playstyle of taking map control very quickly, and even though they did it, they were able to do it very strongly. But the thing is that I believe they tried to try to force the engagement too soon. Even though Atlas was still rotating in positions on their defensive side here, once sorry, I'm just quickly putting more chips down. Once Atlas, once they saw the push coming from Mahu into the center part here, the chieftains that he were able to play the ridge and farm them as they crossed. That's why we saw 2 of their tanks. It was Sweet Cabbage Man and someone else. I can't remember who their name was. I do apologize. When they got into here, they were pretty much under 1,000 hit points, and these guys he were able to pick them apart, and they were able to flank around and come into this section here, pick this guy apart, and then even though they had 3 tanks down here, they took too long to take out God Jai Ho and Jai Yo, sorry,
Oh, good,
in
man.
the chieftain. And they were in here, this section of the map for too long. They had 2 97s here from Mahu farming these guys, and I thought that Atlas could have lost it when they stayed in this section for too long. But at that point, I think Mahu were down too many tanks to try and make a push or take control of either the north or the south. Mainly the south, for them to be able to swing the game back in their favor. Like even though they had their Chiefs up north push into base, um, that was really good by them. Even though they lost a chief here and the other chief came here,
Ravi, you need to move in. Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry. Oh, whoopsies.
Oh, good.
Even though they had 2 on cap, Atlas still had all their 3 EBRs. Even though 2 of them were under 500 hit points, the other was on 1,000. They were able to do a 3 cap real easy. And that's where Mahu's lone EBR, when they came back to base, the ping factor really showed its true form here. When Mahu were trying to get resets on base, where the EBR just drove straight up and got deleted instantly. So unlucky there. I thought Mahu could have got the resets and then cap him out, but then Agaru, can't say his name, sorry. The CGC and the RD does get a blind reset on the Chiefs that were in base. So, it's some again, like I mentioned early in with the early games and steps. It seems like the games have been swung into the other team's favor when either the team forces an error or the team makes an error. So yeah, it's currently it is now Atlas's match point, I believe. It's
Indeed,
6-2
and
to
we have
Atlas.
10 seconds before we go in to what could be the final game for APAC versus NA.
So we are on Malinovka, back on the NA server with ATLUS defending, and this is a very mobile lineup coming from ATLUS. As we see, 1279E, 2 Chieftains, 7907s, 3 EPRs, and 2 261s.
Yeah, this is very common play with lots of 907s. The double 261 though, they're really trying to take that gamble to make sure that they can win that hill. MAHOU, on the other hand, only bringing 1 261, same triple EBR, but bat chats. There's a lot of bat chats, and that's very unusual from what I've seen on Malinovka.
Yes, and the rest of the MAHOU's lineup is 3 907s and 4 Chiefs. So I wonder if they're going to. I wonder how effective they're going to use the bat chat's clip potential on this map. They're really going to make sure they make every shot count. Otherwise, if they bounce a shot or miss, it really would cost the engagement on how or where they would use it.
And again, we got that leopard coming out by MAHOU this time. Sorry, I'm trying to get it right. I know people have been messaging me, but Raphael here in the EBR going quite aggressive. ATLUS leaving a lot of 907s in base, and Sensei going to take damage here. That's a lot of damage. He's now lost 1300.
There he goes.
He's dead. And now MAHOU don't have anything in the base at all. This is incredibly early gameplay by ATLUS. This could be the game changer right here.
ATLUS pick up a free kill on the leopard, so that really does clear up the base for ATLUS to move some 907s down there. As you see, they have Yamato move and Yuhei pushing down with Raphael. And it looks like they're going to try and put more pressure on the base. And as you can see, they have MAHOU have their 907s and bat chats not going through the hill. They're coming under the hill.
Yeah, this is really interesting play. They're not actually, as you said, committing to the hill. They're coming underneath, trying to squash, I'm assuming, this blob here before ATLUS can make a play. But they're already having to try and send someone back. EBR, I'm assuming, going to come back. This Chieftain here is probably going to come back as well. But here comes the push. Here comes the play. Swamp Cabbage, Gojiro, 3-mark Legend, Rainbow Assassin. Massive brawl coming into the fight here. 279 taking damage, Chieftain taking damage, Mori-chan trying to run away as fast as he can. Tuku has got a broken fuel tanks, dead driver. 279 actually ignored, they're driving past him. ATLUS has started the cap, they know that they have to make this counterplay here. And unfortunately, MAHOU does not have anything that can reset. Build the Wall is probably the closest guy that can come back, and he's making a play, but nothing can spot it. We've got Kagumi here in the EBR trying to make a play, coming through and screen so that the 907s in the EBR can try and get a shot. And I assume Tezda's trying to look for that reset shot. He throws out a blind, does get the reset shot off, but I don't know, this is really going to be tight. We've got EBR finally coming back in to support. We've got Zerail coming in here. And are they going to scatter on the cap, or are they going to try and play it out?
Kagami does peel off to the side there and try and find this Artie. And it looks like they do scatter from the cap. They do back off, and now Build the Wall is now caught in the open. You probably get rushed in a sec. But the push coming from MAHOU, it worked in the end. They still got a bit of hit points, but they're still down 6k.
Yeah, so this is not looking good for MAHOU. They're down a lot of HP. Boba here trying to get supporting fire where he can, but a lot of Chieftains have bled. Big guns here, unfortunately, only 600 HP. Narwhal here, again, 600 HP. Kono in the 907 in the south, one-shottable. Rainbow Assassin in the 907, less than 1,000 HP. And Narwhal has now picked up 3,000 damage, but unfortunately, I don't think that's going to make any of a difference. ATLUS guys are now moving into defensive positions. They've got 907s that are near full HP. Is that 261? I thought he was almost drowning. 261 has actually taken damage as well. And here comes the cap again by ATLUS. Yamato Noob is trying to screen. Yuhei sitting on the cap because I'm assuming he doesn't want to get set on fire, but there's a lot of low HP tanks here. Boba is probably the only chance MAHOU has of getting reset shots out here. But Kagumi and Raphael are trying to get shots here. Side shots on Boba. He is now down to a one-shottable amount of HP. He's down to 90 HP. There's zero chance of a reset coming out here. It's all over. ATLUS has won.
ATLUS has taken this out 7. Going to be taking this out 7-2. Honestly, this was, I don't know. I thought MAHOU would have had the brawl, but then they left their cap wide open.
Yeah, losing that leopard at the start of the game did not help their chances at all.
No. It was a really nice pick by ATLUS there. They spotted that leopard early, and he just had no cover. The 907s, they were split split across the buildings in base, just really picked them apart. And yeah, and that's it. All over now, guys.
It is all over. The grand champions for North America versus APAC. Our
Is this the
homeboys.
first time we've won?
I'm not sure, but it's the first time we've won this convincingly. 7-2. That is absolutely incredible. Well done to the ATLUS guys. Unlucky to MAHOU. I really would like to see a lot more play by them, but well done, ATLUS. Just above and beyond. I think the only bad play I saw out of them all afternoon was that one push on steps down the 9-0. Other than that, it was very strong, very confident the entire match. So we are now updating the scores. 7-2. It is all over.
Before we wrap things up, we'll quickly go through the battle post-battle results. Then we'll have a quick talk and recap about the games. So yeah, Notori in the 907 picked up 3.5k damage. Nipper and his 907 picked up 2.8, and Kogami again in his EBR picking up 2.5. And then you look at Narwhal Legend in the 907 picking up 4.7k damage from his team, well above everyone else. The next person was Narwhal Legend End, I believe his name was. It picked up 2k. So the very mobile lineup coming out from MAHOU. I wasn't too sure if it was going to work. I was hoping it would because it looked like with the bat chat clip potential was going to work. But ATLUS actually spotted their push coming in very early. So, yeah, it was very interesting to see.
Yeah, honestly, this was ATLUS's game. MAHOU made an aggressive push. They were trying to pick apart those tanks. They didn't want them to get to the hill. It didn't work. They left their base wide open. And with that cap pressure, they're forcing to have tanks peel back. Yes, it was an aggressive play. Yes, it looked fantastic seeing all those bat chats going in, clipping tanks, but ATLUS was prepared. They had plenty of tanks ready to cover base. It was all over.
So what we'll do is we'll quickly go through the
Shall we go to strat sketch? Yeah, absolutely. I'll set it up for you.
While you do that, you can finish off the last bit of codes. I believe you have a few left, don't you?
Yes, so what will happen now is we'll do a brief recap about what happened, and I've got a heap of codes to give away, so please stick around in chat. I'll be doing one more keyword after this, and once we've done the keyword, I'll be just doing lots of draws for the rest of the winners, so we use up all the codes. Yeah. So, take it away, Mr. Ravi.
Ooh, let's go. So, this is the last game of the match, the winning match for ATLUS. The start of the game with the 97s in their base, picking off this lone leopard behind this rock, he had nowhere to go. Unfortunately, he was mainly to get vision here and also see anything that come down here. But the thing is, Raphael and his EBR, he was very aggressive. Got into here, got into the bushes, and just the 97s in base just picked this EBR out very easy. And that was it. That was it that MAHOU had in their base. So ATLUS instantly had their base. They had pretty much map control from the beginning. I'll do a line that way you can see. That was their map control straight away. So yeah, they were able to take control of their base. They put pressure on it. Once they saw this EBR here, he saw this push from their mediums about here. So these guys were they were ready to receive. So they got themselves set up. They split the tanks down this line. That way they could, like, even though we've been taking it one at a time, they weren't bunched up. So that was really good by ATLUS. And the firepower coming from these mediums and was just not enough to take out these tanks. They lost so much hit points as it came in. The bat chase the clip potential from the bat chase wasn't enough. The focus fire from ATLUS taking out their bat chats really quick was key there. So yeah, even though I had the EBR here spotting this, that's when ATLUS made the push into their base. These chieftains here weren't able to farm this as effectively. They had to push right up to this next ridge and try and farm, but even then they still don't have enough clear shots. And at that point, it was just GG. Once that push happened, majority of the tanks from MAHOU died from here. That was it. There was nothing else they could do, unfortunately. Build the wall, and the EBR made a big push to try and reset base. But when they got close enough, ATLUS just drove off, and they waited till MAHOU committed more down the 8-9 line, and then that's when they just rushed build the wall in his lone chief right here. So again, a very decisive win for ATLUS in this game. again, I got to give a big praise for Mahu for coming across to our server and letting us play on their server and showing us some really good games. Again, I was hoping that Mahu could, you know, really really show us what the American play style is. With the games that we saw, they, like I said many times, they play very aggressive to take map control, and then they just hold it, and then they make a push depending on where they see it can be broken down. Um,
Absolutely. But the thing is, ATLUS guys are very good at holding defensive positions from what I've seen. And a lot of the times, the MAHOU guys were just pushing right into a trap.
Yeah, so they did make a lot of blind pushes into positions where they just got caught out, and it's like I said on the Sand River game, second Sand River game, they were trying to force the engagement too soon, where they ended up getting caught out, losing tanks for free, and just getting stuck in a situation where they would just lose more tanks and lose more hit points. So yeah.
Well, I think it's all over. Double check and make sure we're all good to wrap up stream. But look, once again, massive congratulations, ATLUS 7-2. That is not an easy feat. They have shown absolutely incredible gameplay today. I really, really wanted to see that build the wall strat work. I was so hoping for it, but it just wasn't to be. I think that's probably the highlight of this. And neither of us were corrected our predictions. I thought it would be close. You thought it'd be a little bit less close, but ATLUS just blew us out of the water with our expectations.
Before we wrap things up, I just want to say a massive thank you to Mario, the tournament manager for Wargaming APAC, for letting us stream on the Wargaming official channel. Same thing for the other casters that we have in the APAC region. We got some of the Japanese guys, Korean, some Chinese guys as well doing this casting these games as well. We've also got a team from NA casting from their side. Massive shout out to those guys for doing this as well. It's been an absolute honor that Wargaming let us community contributors cast these games. Obviously, this is mine and Napalm's second time doing it, so hopefully we did a much better time at doing it, apart from the difficulties.
Yes,
Uh,
there's a lot of stuff I've had to unfortunately do in the background. But thank you, Ravi, for everything today. It's been an absolutely incredible experience. Being able to see some of these top teams just do what they do.
exactly. So it's always good to see what other regions what their play style is for Clan Wars, how they play, what kind of would they use different tanks in different situations, and obviously with Build the Wall, that is honestly, if I could, I'd give MVP to him because that was a 300 IQ play from him. Even though he did 0 damage, didn't fire a shot, didn't
Doesn't
get any
matter.
shotting through it.
It is
He's
the
stood
moral
so
victory.
long.
It is the moral
Uh,
victory. It's all that matters.
yeah. So I believe we do we have one more bit of news? I think we can talk about one thing.
I'm just double checking that Mr. Matteo is not here at the moment. But thanks again, as Ravi said, to Matteo for everything. This has been a massive project. Thank you to J Rated as well for giving me permissions to stream on the official channel. It's certainly made a world of difference. Thank you to the art team that has been supplying us with all this brilliant artwork to make the stream seem much more professional. Really couldn't do it without you guys. And thanks again for everyone that actually turned up and played. It mostly went off without a hitch. I'm not sure if we can do the news, but you know what? I reckon we do it anyway. I think we're done. Shall
Yeah,
we?
I think we can wrap things up. Let's go. We got some breaking news, guys. This is
So-
literally just in.
Breaking news! This is something that you will not want to miss. If you liked the North America versus APAC, you are in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. You are in for an absolute treat because we will be back very, very soon with something that you won't want to miss. We are fighting ATLUS versus Divide on the European server. April 4th, 10 p.m. Sydney time. It's UTC plus 11. You do not want to miss this, folks. It is going to be an absolute ripper of a game.
So, Divide are EU's Clan Wars campaign champions for Dawn of Industry. The campaign recently just happened a few months ago. Led by, I believe it will be the captain of Dekilza. Am I wrong there, or am I correct?
I'm not sure if he's captain, but he's certainly going to be playing for them. There is a lot of really, really strong players in Dubai, and
Mm.
I would really love to see just what our best can do against that.
Showing that ATLUS were really on their game today. I wonder how they will fare against Devi. From streams that I've been watching on Daki's end when he does advances, Devi are very well gelled. They are a very good team. And obviously there's some big names in that clan that a lot of people should know from back in the WGL days, I believe.
It is going to be
Um,
something you will not want to miss.
so
Absolutely.
please do tune in on 4th of April. We will have more announcements coming up in the next coming days about it. But yes, this is just coming in. Please do tune in on the 4th of April. Hopefully, we will be back, myself and Nate
We
Palmer.
should be, hopefully.
We should be. But yeah, so again, this is literally exciting news for us.
And it should be exciting
yeah.
for you guys as well. This is the first time we have ever had, I'm pretty sure, APAC versus EU since the old Wargaming League days. This is absolutely incredible.
This is the first time, I believe.
First time. Wow.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. But are we good to wrap up? I think we're good.
Yep. All good when you are.
So, folks, hope you enjoyed the stream today. Congratulations once again to ATLUS for securing the victory. Unlucky MAHOU, you played really well. Better luck next time if you have another opponent. And, folks, from beautiful Sydney, I would like to say thank you all for watching. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had some fun. We'll be giving out more codes throughout the end of the stream. So please stick around. I will let everyone know in chat when we are done with all the codes. But from all of us here, have a fantastic afternoon. I will see you next time, April 4th. Till then, take care. I'll see you then. Ciao.
See you, everyone.